He jumped up here. I was petting him, and then he
Oh,
flopped down in defensive mode.
somebody's talking about their cat.
Yep, that's me.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and tonight your host for this 10th episode of Second Star, a Traveler 2300 role-playing experience. With me, as always, I have Charles, I have Thurgor, and I have Agent Wiggles. And Thurgor's cat is currently doing cat things in the background. We can't see it, but we can hear about it. And it's entertaining because cats are cats and they will cat. My cat, I'm expecting actually. Oh, yeah, and there's my cat drinking out of something in the kitchen sink. Awesome. You put food and water out for them, and they go somewhere else for it. That's just how that goes. Let's do some intros before I start randomly rambling. Charles, what's new and exciting in your world? I heard existence was one topic.
Well, yeah, existence. Yeah, just been one of those weeks. I mean, it was like the one full work week in between the two holiday weeks. And yeah, it's just been dealing with leadership and 50-year-old adults that want to act like toddlers. So that's work life.
Yeah,
Home
that
life.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, home life. It's just been busy trying to get out last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. So now it's been running around the camps and getting them involved in all sorts of stuff, and yeah, that's been busy.
I can only imagine. I can.
Right.
My kid finished school last week Thursday. That was his last day, and then this past weekend was my weekend for him to be here. But between a few other things, I'm not going to go into details for. Mostly it's summertime, so he's going to be around a lot, and it just so happened tonight he is not. But yeah, summertime, my kid is going to be around a lot, which may or may not impact streaming for the record, but there may be some impact in the coming weeks. We'll see how it plays out. He's gotten better about when I'm streaming, and like if he's here and I have a game nights, which obviously I have streams Sunday through Thursday, or excuse me, Sunday through Monday, and sometimes other stuff going on as well. But yeah, no, summertime definitely changes the pace on a lot of things.
Yep. We got one of them's that our oldest is at their first overnight camp went last Sunday, and it's supposed to run until next Sunday. So
Oh,
that ought to
nice.
be yeah. So
Nice.
that's an adventure.
All right. Anything else?
Not really. Nope. I'm just prepping for the heat wave coming up soon.
Yeah, kind of like what Thurgar was talking about with his weather situation. Well, more accurately, the impact of his weather situation. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I do know that the last week or two has been really pleasant for me, and I don't want it to change, but I know it's going to.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, man. Speaking of Thurgor and his weather situation and the impacts therein, what do you got for us there, player of pilot Joseph Milligan /
All
intern?
right. Well, today was typical Alaskan island life day, complete with landslide and multi-hour power outage, and actually this time cell phone outage as well, all on top of everything. But it worked out, and I'm here, and I got my two of my kids here with me. They came last weekend, and they'll be here through the first week of July.
Nice. So you got him for about another week and a half ish or
Yep.
something like that. But that's awesome, man. I love it when people get to have time with their kids that they normally. Well, I don't know about normally, but you know what I mean. Like you spend so much of the year without your kid, and then you get like weeks at a time. It's always a nice feeling. Um, yeah. Anything else?
That's pretty much it. I'm ready to go.
All right. So, real quick before we move on to Wiggles, if we do lose Thurgor for more than a few minutes, we may decide to end the session prematurely just because of my desire to keep the group together, more or less. And I say that mostly for the players' benefit, but also obviously for the viewers and those watching in the future on YouTube. So if something does come up with Thurgor or Joseph Milligan, as you probably see him on the screen, if something comes up with his connectivity, we may wrap early, but we'll jump that bridge if and when the time comes. Speaking of Wiggles, why don't you enlighten us? What's new and exciting in your neck of the woods?
Well, the heat wave is probably going to be upon Mojave soon, so not looking forward to that. I'm going to run the second session of my Traveler game. I've been really excited prepping for that. They're going to break into a library, and they're going to go do some newspaper archive research. It should be really fun.
That sounds interesting. Are you playing standard Traveler, or are you doing like 2300?
Yeah,
You doing?
yeah, that's standard Traveler.
Okay.
I have a Benari Noble. I have a Dolphin naval officer.
Oh, yes.
I have a scout, and I have an ex-spy. And they're investigating at night to see whether or not they should get promoted, and they're checking up on some auspicious news. So they have to go get the legitimate source. So they go to Joe Control, which is insane, crazy goat world, super religious. And during the High Holy Week, so everything is shut down. So they're going to have to break into the library. They're going, and they're only used to the internet. So now they're going to figure out what the hell a Dewey Decimal System is and what microfilm is.
There's a name I've not heard in a long time. The Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, so they mostly live on the planet nearby called Mora, which is TL-15, which is the high tech for Traveler, and Joe Control is TL-7, which is approximately late 60s, early 70s.
Yep.
So microcomputers are now just starting to become a thing. Colleges are trying to hook each other up through the ARPANET and other such things, but nothing's actually really computerized yet. So the library is still totally analog.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So last session, when the player was like, "Well, can I just look up the news information from orbit?" It's like, "Nah, dog, they don't got internet."
Yeah. Their news is not uploaded to anything close to an internet. In fact, I wasn't around yet. I was born in '76, so my earliest recollection of anything close to the internet would have been the mid '90s. But by that point, personal computing was a thing. The AOL was pretty much your main dominant commercialized version of the internet access. But I do realize that before that there was a number of lesser known or I can't think of the right word, but basically just a bunch of other networks that had existed prior, and that the World Wide Web as we know it today was not yet created. It was slowly coming. I think if anything, the various networks were, we'll say they were pregnant with what would become the World Wide Web. But yeah,
Bulletin board services. That's what I remember.
What's that?
Bulletin board services.
Oh yeah,
that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Logging in to one of those, you had to pay a fee.
Yeah.
And then it was, if you were lucky, it was somebody who knew how to do it all in ASCII with colors and sometimes flashings. And that's where you would download the mods to some old 486 or 386. Or if you were really sneaky, you were downloading the how to crack them. If not downloading the how to beat something like some of the infamous Sear Online adventure games.
Yep. Yeah, that was a wild time. Pictures would literally load like bits at it, or like a line of pixels at a time. If you downloaded them off the internet, and I'm not going to go into what those pictures may have been, you can use your own imagination or creativity.
Yeah, the whole gifs of like 2 seconds or something. And you're like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah. The internet screech of your dial-up network connecting. Sorry, Wiggles. Go ahead. I keep talking over you. Please. Continue.
Yeah, no, sorry. So I remember being taught the card catalog, like when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
But like I've never really used it though because when my elementary school was in the 90s, so everything was starting to be computerized by then. So by the time like I was in junior and high school, libraries were computerized.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I remember not so like similar to you, Wiggles. Like I wasn't necessarily taught the Dewey Decimal System, but I was taught how to look. You would look up either by topic or by author if you knew, or even by book title if you knew. You would look in the card catalog. There's literally a wall of these little mini pull-out shelves that would have index cards inside them, and you would thumb through them all, and you would find what you're looking for, and you would write down. Usually there'd be like a stack of note cards and the little half shit pencils. You would write down the number, which was a 3-digit number, or maybe a 4-digit number in a period, and then like up to 3 or 4 or 5 more numbers, and sometimes a letter which represented the last name of the author. And that would tell you exactly where in the library to go to get that specific book.
I mean, the Dewey Decimal System is still used, but now it's all database lookup. It's all scale entries. You just go to the computer terminal, go bloop 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 bloop, and it just tells you where the fuck it is.
Yeah. It does it all a lot more easily. You know, you literally go in and it's like doing a Google search. In fact, actually, if I'm not mistaken, there is like the Dewey Decimal System is standardized nationwide or maybe even worldwide. So in theory, I could just do a straight Google search for a book, and it should. No, I'm thinking the ISBN. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, when I went through elementary school, for us to get full library privileges, we had to take a test.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at the idea of library privileges because I remember that being a thing. Please continue. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. No. So we had to literally take a test from our library teacher, our school librarian, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Of like, they would give us like, where would you go find a book about how to read about West Germany? Where would you go find a book about game theory and things like this? And you'd have to go figure out how to navigate the Dewey Decimal System, and you had to write it all out and turn it in. And it was always a great day when you could get it done and get it all figured out, and then win, and I'm air quoting win, your unfettered library privileges, where you could just go in and check out whatever you wanted without having to be escorted by somebody.
Yeah. No, that was, geez, man, what a wild time that was back before the internet. Oh, man.
I expect to be able. So they had to break into the library because it's closed during the High Holy Week.
Right.
The power is going to be off, so they're going to figure out how to turn on the microfilm reader without turning on all the lights
and giving themselves away. Microfiche.
Yeah, exactly.
Microfiche. Oh man.
Oh my god. I feel so fucking old right now, but it's hilarious at the same time, so it doesn't hurt as much. Microfiche. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it's a library from the 60s or 70s, so of course newspaper archive is mostly microfiche.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I don't even know how that shit was made, but it's basically a snapshot of individual pages of newspapers or whatever, and it's like shrunk the fuck down. And you would get like on a single sheet, you would have like a dozen cards, basically. Oh,
it should be a lot of fun. Getting into the library should be like its own little miniature heist. It should be fun.
Yeah, that's...
And then, of course, they have to interface with a highly religious society without offending them during the most important holiday week, so they don't get corporally punished.
Yeah, yes, because oh my god. Oh man, this actually sounds pretty. What's that?
The best thing is they're going to have to print it all out on mimeograph, and so they're all going to get addicted to that purple dye,
Oh.
That's one I didn't know. That's one I didn't know.
I haven't thought about that, but like a dot matrix printer, goddamn, those things are loud.
Oh my god.
And then trying to figure out how to load it properly.
Oh man.
What do you mean? What's a 502 error?
God. Man, our poor, whoever's watching this video, however long from now in the future, they're all gonna be like, "What the fuck are these old ass sons of bitches talking about?"
So, while we were on the spring hiatus, that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah.
There's an electronic recycling company near me called RePC, and on a whim, I walked in there one day. I had to get rid of a bunch of electronics we were getting rid of out of the house.
Right.
But I walked in, and they'd just taken a whole bunch of stuff from the schools, and there was a shelf full of nothing but microfiche readers and overhead projectors.
Projectors. Oh man.
And I took a picture. Unlike the old school ones, right, with the bright light that the minute you walk in front of it, you're like blind for like 3 hours.
Yep.
And I was like, I took a picture of this going, oh my god, I don't think any of my kids will ever know what the joy is of when you saw one of these come rolling in into the classroom, what it meant for the day, or having to go use one of these devices in the library. And then so now that Wiggles has talked about this, it's just like
It's bringing
that's a
back all the
flash.
memories. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
you talking about the overhead projector makes me think of that one the TV cart.
oh yeah,
The one with the big old school what is that, CRT TV screen with the VCR, and it's all bolted down onto this cart. And,
yeah, yep.
That was the upgrade.
Hangover.
And that was the upgrade from the old reel-to-reel film, the film projector,
or the film strip with
Yeah.
the little tape that would go beep, and you'd have to have somebody advance the thing if it wasn't automatic.
I'm not that old. It was always VHS for me.
Yeah. Oh man. Golly. All right, let's
Teacher, we're not drinking too much. We're doing a video today.
Yeah. Let's end the stroll down memory lane, especially for us older guys, because I'm pretty sure that if we got anybody under the age of about 30, they're gonna have zero clue what we're talking about.
And of course, the library's in a different language.
Oh, geez, that's even... Oh, man, the final wrinkle. There it is. The other shoe has dropped.
Yeah. And so they have a phrase book.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? And that's their only reference in how to speak this language when they're looking up all this shit.
It should be... So when I say I'm excited they're going to a library, I hope that provides the context why I'm excited they're going to go to a library.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, at surface layer, like, ooh, you're breaking into a library. Ooh. But yeah, you throw all this other shit at them, 50-year-old tech, and a phrase book that only nominally helps figure out how to speak the local language. Yeah, I see how this is going to be. This is going to be hijinks and shenanigans. That's all this is going to be. That's awesome. All right, well, I am, of course, Omar Krieg, and I have nothing terribly new and exciting in my world. I picked up a cat a little over a week ago, and he and I are figuring out how to live in each other's space, or more accurately, I believe, how I get to live in his space, but don't tell him that, and he's not listening right now, so...
He knows.
He knows, yeah, no. The other day, he actually took a nap with me, I think on Monday, so I usually take a quick nap, like a 15, 20, 30-minute nap, after I get home from work, just to kind of recharge for the rest of the day and decompress and reset and all that stuff. He actually curled up in the nook of my arm while I was taking this nap and stayed there the whole time I took a nap the other day. I was like, holy shit, this is actually pretty cool. All right, cool. We're getting somewhere. Like we're learning each other or whatever. And I was telling somebody else about it, and they're like, yeah, he's training you. I'm like, motherfucker, you're probably not wrong, but did you really have to point it out that he's training me how to deal with him? Anyway, he's a little turd, but he's also sitting off to the side, totally ignoring me. He's like laying in a position where he could turn his head to the right and look at me, but he's very specifically pointing his head to the left. Because that's what cats do. Anyways, previously on Second Star, our crew did some digging around. Let me think. I'm trying to remember what exactly we did. Basically, we left wherever the hell we were before, that I forgot already. It's coming to me. Give me a moment. Actually, let me look at the map. That'll help me out in remembering where we were. We were in Neotikundu, and then we went to Bessier. That's what it is. Yep. So we left Bessier. We made it to Neubayern. We've landed on the planet Nibelungen, and we've got about 42 hours from the moment we touched down for basically the cosmic gravity static charge. There's actually a technical term for that, but I don't know what it's called. But basically, space static shock to wear off. During that 5 or 6 days in space, transiting from one star system to another, Paul Gray, the communications guru for the ship, approached Fritz Hellwig and said, hey, I found some shit. And so now tension is ramping up a little bit because there's an actual message that, while they didn't get the full message, there's definitely, we'll say, clues there. And I think there was one or two other things that off the top of my head I don't remember, and normally I have the previously on section of the event scripted out or written out or whatever, but I didn't do that when I prepped for this week, so apologies. Usually I'm a little bit more smoothly polished, but hey, we keep rolling. So where we are now, we're on the surface of Nibelungen. If I'm not mistaken, Wiggles, in his role as Commander George Wyatt, has already completed all of the trade deals and stuff of that nature. Am I not mistaken? We did complete.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yep.
Okay. So
Big delicious amount of money and paid everyone.
Yeah. So my notes say today is Friday, the 7th of May, 2297. We've been on the surface of Nibelungen for probably 8, 10, 12 hours. You arrived sometime last night. So basically, you have all of Friday to do whatever it is you're going to do on the surface of the planet, and then tomorrow morning at some point we will be departing because, of course, the captain, as always, wants to get moving again. He doesn't want to stay here any longer than he has to. So I have a couple scenes, basically one scene for everybody. I already have that prepped or planned or what have you, but also because I don't want to be the only one guiding the show, we'll start with Helwig. Helwig, what do you want to get after?
I think so. I know last time I talked to the XO, told him about what I got approached by.
Oh, that's right. We did have that scene. I'm sorry. I know I interrupted, but I forgot that we had that.
And then we had the secret message, which we're trying to slowly decipher, but it's kind of cryptic. So I think the XO and his wife were who like cryptograms were probably better at it. I'm just I kind of paid off the comms officer, and I was gonna go to shore and buy, or told him to go buy his own personal computer, so he's not hooked into the ship's net,
right,
to do anything. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing. It's just I mean, even though I got a built-in computer in myself, don't always want to flash that. So I may go ashore and just go find a cheap laptop computer thingy.
Use that as your smoke screen?
Yeah, it's my smoke screen, yeah.
Okay. So the scene I have for you is kind of similar to that. So we could go ahead if you want. We'll just hand wave that along the way while you're doing this particular scene, that you'll get your laptop and oh my goodness, excuse me.
Okay.
You'll effectively you'll get your laptop along the way, and you can mark off like $1,000 from your whatever money you got.
Right.
With that in mind, Paul Gray does approach you, probably early in the morning, like around breakfast time while everybody's in the galley. You know, everybody coming on shift or coming off shift is circulating through the galley to grab some food or coffee or whatever. And Gray approaches you, and he kind of bumps into you surreptitiously, like semi-pseudo, trying to be sneaky, but not really, because he's not very good at it. And says, excuse me, sorry, so sorry. And then, like, leans in a little bit even closer and is like, we should go to the store today.
Okay. Yes, we need to go to the store.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to grab one of these apples right here. I did not mean to get in your way. Totally uncool of me. I apologize.
Go ahead. Go take your stuff, and then I'm gonna just kind of, look at him briefly and just again shake my head, going, "He's not listening, but whatever."
He's not listening because your GM is a bit of a fucking retard, but whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. But I'm just gonna pocket my grab my food, go sit down in the corner,
and grab a Nutrigrain bar and throw it in your pocket.
Yeah. Grab one of those protein bars as well, and then go sit down and go flip through the net pad, read all the local news, read some of the international news, maybe draft some words and messages off to some old contact. I don't even have any contacts. I didn't make any contacts on any head character creation, so that's fine.
Awesome. We could always just kind of bullshit something like one or two, as the case may be. I do want to say, so you're flipping through the local version of national/international news, whatever might be bouncing around on the web.
Yeah.
Pulling up your character sheet real quick here. Of course, yours is at the bottom of my list. Let me see.
I got a computer. I think, I got a computer of one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn sensors and some other stuff. But all I'm really kind of doing is just like acclimate myself because my profession is professional background was security and corporate
Yeah, yeah.
espionage.
You're
So it's
you're
more
doing the let's see what kind of local bullshit's going on that I might need to be aware of before I start walking around.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what you do here? So first off, you catch the headline, and this will be the whether or not you click on it moment. You'll catch a headline regarding an investigation into the Terrain Interplanetary Space Station attack, the one that you guys were actually very close proximity to in the very beginning of the campaign. You catch a headline in that regarding the investigation into it. It says something along the lines of new lead discovered, and then there's something about a question about whether or not it was really the Empire of Mankind or the Emperor of Mankind, but maybe some other splinter group.
Right.
And then locally, there's some news about some local arrests following a 2 or 3 week long sting operation. It looks like a local. They don't use the word terrorist cell, but they use words very close to it.
Yeah. Extremist groups or something else like
yeah,
that.
But they don't even necessarily go that far. Well, I almost said they don't go that extreme with it, but I didn't want to be a pun maker on that one. But they definitely try to downplay the severity. But effectively, what it is an extremist group, or maybe not quite a full blown terrorist group. We'll say more like activists, but more of an angry activist type. I'm sure there's a word, and I just can't think of it right now.
No, I know what you're saying.
Agitators.
Aggravate. Yeah.
But they do mention that there was 3 or 4 arrests in the last 2 days, all in relation to a sting operation that's been going on for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Individuals suspected to be associated with a group calling themselves the Dukes of the French Arm or something along those lines.
Okay. So I'll kind of pull some of those off and then highlight those. Since I'm kind of a pseudo security officer, I'll send those through the chain of like, hey, we probably need to keep people advised of this, and then I may send a note off to the XO that the comms officer wants to go get a computer, and I'll say karaoke with a question mark.
Sorry, don't mind me. Listen, if you guys haven't figured out by now, I'm easily amused. I just love how the fact that within 2 sessions, karaoke became the group's code word for we're doing some illicit shit. Don't put this on the record, Captain.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be illicit as much as like do we want to watch his back kind of thing, and then again highlight that and I'll definitely highlight the non-Empire of the Mankind, the train station blowing up, and that something's going on, and then bring up the fact that we left, it went boom, and now there's messages going out. 2 and 2 may equal 4.
2 and 2 equal 4 question mark?
Yeah. Basically, okay. Yep.
All right.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. So I imagine at some point you're actually going to go ahead and head off ship, or maybe Gray sends you a quick little text message about shopping episode.
Yeah. I'll say, hey, there's I may have gone through and looked up the local Yelp or whatever and find a restaurant and say, hey, there's this, let's go get some food, and if you want to go shopping, we can go shopping.
Okay. Yeah, so I explained it last week, but just to reiterate for everybody here and for the viewers, so you guys are at, oh my god, I'm trying so hard not to burp into the mic. I forget the name. I think there's a specific name for this starport or spaceport that you're at. So you're on the surface of Nibelungen. You're at a spaceport that is outside the capital city of Schönbleck, which I'm probably mispronouncing because I know it's a German word, and when you have the O, the A, or the U followed by an E, it has that extra, that's the umlaut that's supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to, I believe it's pronounced Schönbleck, but I'm probably still screwing it up. But anyway, Schönbleck, is the capital city of the planet. There is a shuttle that connects the airport, or excuse me, the spaceport to the city proper, that terminates near downtown, and from there, effectively like going like a block or two away, or maybe even just crossing the street, is the local major hub for the actual intra-city transit system, whether it be bus, subway, whatever, so that you can go from, so basically you can go from the spaceport into downtown, and then from there literally go anywhere in the city via some sort of transit system. Now the local atmosphere is breathable, but it is thin. So if you don't have like what's the word I'm looking for here? The DNAM for thin air. It's recommended that you carry a mask or maybe even use it. There's not necessarily anything like pathogens or harmful effects. It's just the air pressure, the atmospheric pressure is a little bit lower, than average. Average being, of course, Earth. But yeah, so getting into town is pretty easy, and it probably takes, let's say, altogether about a half hour before you're dropped off at the downtown terminal. Gray is with you. I'm assuming you're cool with that?
Yeah, totally
Okay.
cool with that.
All right.
And meanwhile, I'm at the same time I'm like just talking to him. I'm like, you gotta be more careful. Tradecraft. This isn't some of those vids that you see. The spy movie. There's none of this cool. We don't have gadgets, dude. Just
I feel like he's got his Link device out. Now, in my head, I'm picturing something similar to a smartphone. In 2300, they use this thing called the Link, which effectively replaces the internet as we know it today, to include Wi-Fi while bumping about wherever you are in the world, going through your day-to-day.
Yeah.
And so I'm just picturing in my head that Gray is got his Link device out, and he's like trying to make little quick notes, and then realizing that saving these notes could actually implicate him. So then he saves these notes, he reads it once or twice, and then he deletes it.
So one of the things is I'm looking around, and there's always a thing for what do you call it? Dun dun dun. Pen and paper.
Yeah,
the old school.
the old
stuff,
notepad.
Right? The old notepad. So I turn around and I look around. We walk past. I'm sure we walk past some old 5 and dime or some old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I dive in there real quick. Hand my card over, and I quickly shove a notebook into it. I said, if you're gonna journal this way. And I shove it into his hands, and I take the pad away and I stick it in his coat pocket.
And maybe take the battery out.
Yeah, well, not even that. I like that one of those quick, rough, just take the journal and start journaling that way.
Okay, yeah, he's definitely confused until he puts it all together, because obviously you're not going to give him the full explanation up to this point, because we're in front of everybody else. It's probably like mid-morning, like I'm thinking like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of downtown of a major metropolitan area in a major colony world. I feel like there's going to be plenty of people bouncing around, people stopping in this shop, that shop, whatever. So yeah, at first he's giving you that like almost that confused dog look, tilting his head to one side even, and then realizes, oh, and in fact he probably even says it just like that. He's like, oh, got it, smart. I knew there was a reason why I talked to you and not the XO. But yeah, so you guys, I mentioned you find a nice little cafe that you can sit down and eat at real quick, or whether it's real quick or you're gonna actually have a full-on sit-down experience. Now, so basically he's expecting you. Actually, let me back up. So to be clear, you don't mind if I call you Fritz, do you?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So to be clear, listen, I realize I'm a camo geek, and I know this is gonna sound so stupid, especially coming from someone like me. Here's the thing, camo. I know ships' communication systems. I could tell you 17 different ways for a ship to communicate with a dead planet, but what I can't tell you is where do I go to get a decent subdermacomp? Because there are so many options available. Which one do I get? Which model's the best for this, that, and the other? Which information and software packages should I go for?
Dude. So
exactly. That's exactly where he's at. He's like, and as soon as he starts talking, he's just like, all over the place. What about this?
Yeah.
What about that? What if I take some of
Dude.
this?
So I basically, I look at him. I go, stop. The vomit of ideas. Oh my god! I think we, and I kind of look around. I go, clean up table.
Clean up on table
and
4.
I'm sure one of the waiters is looking at me like, what? I was like, dude, I got mine with work. Some of them are gonna be good. Some of them are gonna be. It's just like anything else, man. There's people that swear by this. There's people that swear by that. Okay, this is gonna be easy. What's your favorite brand? You go with it. Okay. The hard part is the op. Okay. So finding a good doctor that can put it into you. That's what you got to figure out. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So,
what do you recommend?
Okay. Let's just go. There's a great one. Okay. It's manufactured by Axoni. Okay.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. All right.
I was gonna go with iAndroid.
Right.
Or no, iDroid. There you go.
Right, iDroid. Yeah. No. So what you want to do with that then is get their Tasmanian software implant. All right, and you want to have. And I show them my arm, and I kind of roll back my sleeve, and you can see the data ports.
Yeah.
On my And I said, you want to get it either. You want to do it in your non-dominant, okay? Because you might be busy with your dominant hand. All right.
Wow, that's
I don't want to know.
He says that. That's not me. That's him. He says that.
Yeah.
He's giving you one of those looks right now. He's like,
I basically go look at him. I was like, you might be like, and I kind of motion.
The
finger shooting or the knife stabbing thing or
and he's like, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. So you want to get in an arm, right, where you can hide it behind a sleeve, and if you get the good ones, you can get a skin graft. And I show them that I have the skin graft going on. I said, again, my company bought this all for me because I had to do
Wait,
what I
so
had to
you
do.
actually have like a little dust cover, but it's your skin.
Yes.
That's
and I
awesome.
I roll back the skin graft on my arm, on the inside of my arm, and I show it to them. And and basically there's like a couple USB ports and a plug-in for a geek stick.
I was gonna say probably an RCA panel.
Red,
Red, yellow, green.
Right, yeah. And so I could literally plug into a computer and download stuff. I only have so much data support, right? And I kind of, when I'm talking about that, I'll rub the back of my neck roughly where the subdermal computer is.
Right.
And it's thing. And I said, I don't have so much, but I don't need that much because I was only downloading certain things. You don't need that much either. You can always add little chip card memory things if you need to upgrade, but you want to get one depending how much stuff you have going on. There's a bandwidth level, like how much software you can run, and a lot of it's going to get processed, and you're going to see it across one of your eyes. You're going to pick one. All right, dude? So let's just take a deep breath. All right? Take your book out. All right? Let's walk through. Like, what's your dominant hand? Which eye do you want to look through, right? Things like that, okay? And then after that, we can go find someone. We can go buy the kit here, and maybe we can talk about having the doc get you riggered up. Or maybe we can talk to the XO, and maybe we can finance it through the ship's funds here. If we're going to be hanging out for any long. I think it took me like 48 hours to get one installed. I don't remember because I just remember being walked into a room
and being wheeled out.
And being wheeled right back out. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think this is. So he pulls out his notebook and he starts kind of scribbling. At first it's kind of like real quick and furious scribbling, like just like 100 notes all at once. And he's trying to make sense of it. And then he scratches a few things out. He goes back in. He starts writing some more. And then he starts kind of like. You see, like he does this little. It's clear he's not very good at drawing, but it's clearly meant to be a hand. And then it's like, and then there's an eye, and like an eyeball. But again, he's not an artist. These are like very simple outlines.
Yeah, stick figure drawing.
Yeah, basically like glorified stick figures. And he's got some more notes. It's like, okay, so this is what. So we get subdermal comp with this much data storage and this much bandwidth capability, and then we get what'd you say? The Tasmanian. And he stops for a second and he actually writes down the word Tasmanian. Although he spells it wrong. He spells it T-A-Z. Although he probably should know better because, being a commo guy, you would think they would know things, but, sometimes they're stupid too.
Right.
So anyway, he writes down Tasmanian. It's like, okay, so we get the bandwidth, we get the Tasmanian package, and then, shit, where do we even go to? Hold on. And he pulls out his link. Go ahead. Yeah, so he's pulling out his link device to figure out where to go now.
And I put a hand on it. It's like, dude, we just go down the electronics section, man. They sell them, okay? Now they're going to be the upscales, or they're going to, or if you want one that's used, and I air quote used. I said I really don't recommend that. We can go find some lower scale, but let's stay with the upscale because you want new. News always works better. You don't know what's on the inside of a used one, man. Trust me, I saw it with somebody else in my office, and it did some weird things to them. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Right. Refurbished, bad. And he actually takes like 4 seconds. He's like, refurbished equals bad.
So let's just walk through the. I'm sure they have an electronics area around here. Let's go look. I mean, even if we just get a regular, standard pad system, you don't need to hook it up to the wireless. You get what software you want, and we just go from there, dude.
Those sirens in the background fit this perfectly right away. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I got the window open, so that's it.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I was just like, that was almost like the only thing that would have been better is if that was in the middle of a shootout or something.
This one's still a Tito Dust.
Okay, so I'm gonna say out of character at this point. Finding a suitable store, super simple. Not even gonna make you guys roll. If you want to find something more black markety, that is going to require streetwise in either education or social, in order to find exactly what you're looking for.
No, I think what we're gonna do is let's just go with the thing, and then I'm gonna look at him and say, "Do you want any software?" I said the higher comm software is gonna be. We're gonna have to go talk to some shady people. I mean, otherwise, all you're gonna get is like the basic how to hook to the net, and how to translate from French to this, and how to translate from German to frog and back.
I think what he would want is one, like your basic software pack, which is, something similar to Microsoft or not even Microsoft, but like Windows, and then like a VPN setup of some sort. Which to be totally honest with you, I don't know what rules, if any, there are, but he's definitely like, I know I want to like VPN because I want to be able to do different things.
That would probably be like the agent basically. It stops hacking stuff, so that'd be agent.
Okay. And then probably your general like adventurer, traveler, person who goes from place to place constantly. So any programs related to that, obviously like the translation soft, carrying a little extra Babel in his backpack always helps.
Yeah. So I'm gonna run through this. It's like, okay, remember, you're a comms guy. Bandwidth, you can only run so many pieces of software at one time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So figure out what you want. I mean, what's your highest priorities, and if not, then you can get it all on the above board. So let's just do all that at the above board, okay?
All right, that sounds good. I do want that VPN though, but
the VPNs are there too, man. The VPNs are all there, and I recommend buying straight. You get the little memory card, you plug it in, you say down, you kind of flick through download, blah blah blah. Again, question is, do you want to have it paid out of your wages, or do you want to go talk to the XO and have them?
I think if we don't need to involve the XO, let's not. I don't.
Okay.
I want to trust him, but I don't know if I should. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, let's just the less the XO knows, the better.
Okay. All right. So let's just go to the electronics district. And let's go shopping.
All right, let's go shopping.
And then we go off and go find it. I'm sure we don't dive into one.
Yeah, you're definitely at the local not Radio Shack. The iDroid store.
Yeah. We get them all hooked up. I mean, and I'm sure will. He has to recover. I think it said it takes you about 48 hours or 72 to recover. So when he gets done, I'm gonna walk him back onto the ship, and just leave a note with the XO that he has a thing now, and that he is sick, and I put quotation marks around sick.
He is sick. Sick in
Yeah.
the karaoke sort of way.
Yeah, exactly.
But he'll be fine in a day or two. Okay.
Right.
Is there anything else that you want to do with Hellwood before I move on?
Yeah, I don't have, so I'm gonna buy at the same time because I don't have it. I just have the oh, language software. So I'm gonna buy on my own
Okay.
agent software, and I think there's another one software that's like crypto hacking or something like that. So I'll buy one of those.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like, unless you're trying to go somewhere other than the straight up iDroid store to get into that, you should be fine.
Yeah, it's all the legal stuff, right? The hey, keep your kid from hiding things.
Yeah. If as long as you're trying to get anything that would generally be available, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I know I have notes written down and I could easily get it, but like the law level here probably doesn't prevent that kind of thing.
Right.
Because you're not trying to get like straight up, how do I hack the local government network and so I can leave messages behind?
I'm not trying to get the law enforcement stuff.
Right.
Or any of that type of level. So I'm or the middle grade. So I'm just like trying to get that, and then I'm going to bounce, and then kind of head back to the ship. And
okay.
If somebody wants to go out with me, I'll go out with them. But otherwise, I'm not. I'm good.
Okay, so your escapades take probably, I feel like probably around dinner time is when you're coming back to the ship. The second time,
okay.
Because I imagine. So I'm thinking like, just trying to put a rough time. I have this weird thing about time, so I always want to like have an idea of what the timeline looks like.
Right.
So you and Paul Gray met up probably around 10 or 11, spend a couple hours getting something to eat, doing some actual shopping, and then maybe another hour or two getting things hooked up into his body. And then, so now it's like around 2-ish, 2 or 3 before you bring him back. And then you wander off to go do some of your own shopping that you weren't able to complete while he was with you because you had to babysit him basically.
Yep.
And then I'll take probably a couple of hours, especially with the back and forth, minimum of 30 minutes, give or take, just to get from the starport to the downtown. So yeah, it'll be around like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, early evening before you get back to the ship. So just as a FYI, in case anybody else wants to do anything, timeline wise. That takes me to Mr. Milligan, our local pilot intern. That's the second time I threw that word at you. That's the first time you noticed it, though, I think. That's fine.
So,
what do you want to do, sir? Is there anything you want to get after?
That morning I would probably spend a little time on the net using one of the ship's terminals.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking for hunting opportunities.
Okay.
I think there's like I'm looking to see what's legal, what's not legal. Do you have to be a local citizen? Blah, blah, blah. Are there charters? How long are they? Because there's a couple creatures here that, would at least feed us for a while and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And be a change of pace.
I have.
Mire cows are
Sorry, go ahead.
one thing.
Yeah, the mud cows.
Mire cows are. Yep.
Yeah, I have this the first edition Atlas of the French Arm, and I was reading through it, trying to find stuff during my prep to see about what kind of silly craziness I can throw at you guys. And I do remember the mud cows. Basically, they're almost literally cows, but not really cows. They're
like manatees, kind of.
Yeah, that's it. Manatees. That's actually the word used in the book too. So the unfortunate thing is you do see a variety of different, I'll say the word safaris, for lack of a better thing to call it, or hunting excursions. Unfortunately, the shortest one that you can find is about a 2-day trek, where you meet up in the morning on a given day. You spend about half that day getting out to the area. You do a little bit of hunting that afternoon, or early evening, and then there's either, depending on which package you're looking at, there's a either like an actual camp out overnight sort of deal, or it's an actual not quite a resort, but like a hunting lodge, but it's obviously souped up because it's almost the 24th century. So think something more like instead of a log cabin in the middle of nowhere, it's got like I almost said Ferrocrete. I don't know if anybody would know what that is, but sturdier, more materials, and definitely connectivity back to main civilization and things of that nature. And then, of course, the next morning you would go out and do some more hunting, and then you'd spend, somewhere from about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 or 8, 9 o'clock at night getting back. And realizing, of course, that with the planet being tidally locked, these times are not necessarily arbitrary, but, because humanity needs that structure, time is still counted, even if there is no actual sun up to sundown sort of deal. The cool part of that is while these little hunting trips are available, it doesn't look like you would have a whole lot of time anyway from the morning until the next day, because you've basically got roughly 24 to 30 hours remaining on the discharge of your ship when the captain wants to get going again. And obviously he's already irritated to a point that he was held up for a while at Bessier because of the death of what's his name, McAvoy. So he's definitely wanting to get going. However, you do, in the process of your research, you do find, I'm sure, a few that you're interested in that you can bookmark in case you're ever back this way.
Okay.
In fact, you get one, not necessarily a contact, but you definitely get the name of a local charter company that can actually take you. They have a couple different packages ranging from a 2-day trip into the hot pole or towards the hot pole into a 2-week excursion into the dark side of the planet, where there is a lot more landmass to work with. And while it's much more cold and frozen, there are still an active, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Ocean?
I almost said biomass. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like there's some diversity of life that lives out that way that you can still hunt. Ecology. Yeah, we'll use that. Why not? We'll go with that. And we'll just call that the Cattleman Group. That's offering those various packages at varying rates. It's the Cattleman Group. It's a company that's been around from what you could see from your limited research into it, they've been around for the last 10 or 15 years. Specializing in hunting excursions and also various merchandise, and to some limited degree, they have some guns and ammo sales going, but it's almost as if it's like catered specifically to their excursions, not necessarily not like a Cabela's, for instance.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the Cattleman's Group. They've got some cool logos and a couple of decent looking hoodies in their merch, in their gift store, but in a variety of different packages for heading off into various parts of the planet to go hunt and, go look for animals and shoot them in the face.
Yep. All right.
Anything else you want to get after?
I talked a little bit about a watch before, and then we kind of left the station and it didn't happen. And
you wanted a watch?
I was going to buy the captain a watch.
You did mention something about that now that I think about it.
In my meeting with the captain, he kept looking at his wrist, and he doesn't have anything on his wrist. He doesn't have, a panel or anything. So I thought I thought maybe he was missing something.
That's funny, because obviously he was looking at his wrist in the same way that anybody not wearing a watch today would be like, "Oh, look at the time."
Mm-hmm.
So I see, and so you're now. I'm going to assume. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're reading this intentionally, or your character is reading this intentionally as: is he missing a watch? Should I get him a watch? Will that make him feel better about me being around?
Well, not necessarily about me, but I could tell it was bothering him. Something was bothering him.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's funny. Okay, while you're getting ready, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And if I can also find a bipod for my rifle.
Okay.
I want to buy a bipod.
Okay. So as you are preparing to head out, and by preparing, I imagine the order of the day was that as long as your shipboard duties are up to date, caught up, and complete, shore leave is available for up to 12 hours at a time, up until a couple hours prior to the expected departure time. But as you're getting ready to leave, maybe you're closing out your pilot station, logging out, making sure all the, various paperwork and reports and after operation maintenance checks that you're responsible for are complete. You notice you've got a message a
Okay.
response, as it turns out, from an individual named Jillian Hobbs has messaged
Yep.
you back already. Surprisingly, because it's only been maybe 2 weeks since you sent that flurry of messages out, if even that
Right.
long. I don't think it was even that long. I think you sent those messages out from Bessier, wasn't it?
Yep. From the station. Yep.
Yeah, from the one. Yeah, so yeah, it's been barely a week and you've already got a response. So that's like super fast. But Jillian Hobbs is the Rebco SAR field agent supervisor, and her message back to you arrives in the form of not quite a text, but it does come as something other than an actual email. And it says, "Message received. I'm actually on Nibelungen now. Can we meet?"
All right. I respond back. Sure.
All right. She insists on meeting at the Red Rose Resort and Spa, which is located in northern Schoenbeck. And she will insist on meeting at that hotel, bar, and lounge, etc., because she says it's decent enough establishment for a hotel bar. Which, when you arrive, well, let me ask this: are you gonna head straight there first?
I want to say something to the XO about where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell him that I'm meeting with a Rebco SAR agent to see, if in our travels she can throw any side work my way or our way. And I'm even going to tell him where I'm going just so they know.
Okay. Yeah, probably not a bad idea. And Tran will ping you shortly after you leave the ship when he realizes that, hey, wait a minute, you're not here. Where are you going? And I mean, that's literally the message he sends you. You think of it as a basic text message. It's like, oh, wait a minute, you're not here. Where are you? Where are you going?
I tell him I got clearance for some shore leave and I was going to meet an old colleague of mine from Rebco SAR.
So I don't know what kind of relationship you're expecting with Tran, Marshall Tran, basically your immediate supervisor. But
Right.
while he does strike you as someone who is pretty much professional and by the book and all that stuff, with occasional forays into creating new training exercises and whatnot, he does have something of a smart-ass side, or sarcastic side, or playful side even. So he sends you back a text. It's basically a winky face with, colleague, eh? Make sure you stay safe. And he has another emoji that I can't think of one specifically, but I'm sure you can imagine something that basically suggests, cover
Right.
up before you dive in, sort of things.
Mhm.
Even though that's absolutely not the direction you were going.
I'll just respond back with a simple will do.
Yep. He's just all you get back is like the thumbs up emoji and that's it from him.
No eggplants or water splashes.
See, I didn't want to actually say that, but I also didn't want to imply that
Oh,
directly either.
man.
But definitely
Well, that's
some
because
sort
it's
of
space eggplants.
yeah. It's the space that's the telepathic plant. Anyway, the one that burned up. Anyways, so are you heading? Other than once you leave the ship, are you gonna head straight to the bar or the hotel with her, or?
I mean, did she give me a time or?
Well, so I'm assuming it's like 10 or 11 o'clock. If you wanted to work out a specific time, like, did you want to go and meet up with her first and then do your shopping, or do you want to do your shopping first?
I'd rather do it the other way around. So.
I'm sorry, which one? Because I kind of gave you A or B and then B or A.
I'd rather do the shopping first because I don't want to
Okay.
get tied up with her and then miss out on that. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're looking for a bipod,
Yep.
which, I mean, you're in a pretty populated city. It shouldn't be that hard to find the local guns and ammo store that has that sort of thing available. Probably wouldn't take you too long to find. Yeah, and it wouldn't take you that long to find at least one, if not multiple, bipods that would be adaptable to the weapon that you want to put it on. I'm not gonna make you roll for it. Just knock off a couple $100 from your stash there.
Okay.
And then for the watch, drop anywhere from another 50 to 150 based on how what's the word I'm looking for here? What style of watch and how expensive do you want it to be?
Right.
Who is trying to flip my table?
Who did
Let's
that?
see if that works. There we go.
Lordy.
Yeah, I hit the back button.
So I was planning, when we talked about this before, I was planning on spending 100
On the watch. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
Yeah. So go ahead and knock off about, we'll say 250 altogether for the
Okay.
watch and bipod. Yeah. So when you meet up with Jillian, it's probably around, we'll say around 1, maybe going on 2. The bar that she insisted that you guys meet at it's a decent enough establishment. I mean, we're talking about like, it's not the Motel 6 bar. It's something more like, Best Western.
Quinta Inn?
Yeah, something. It's obviously a hotel bar, but it's not a bad one. It has the appearance of being that they tried to make it look better than it really is, and they actually managed to pull it off for the most part. When you walk in, the lighting and the ambiance and the colors that they chose for the fittings and whatnot, like they managed to pull it off to where it looks like for a moment that you're actually in something a little bit more upscale than your Best Western sort of deal. That's kind of what the vibe is. And so there's a couple of people at the bar over at one end, and she's kind of towards the middle. Over in the normal seating area off to one side is a young couple with 2 small children. It looks like, they're probably ordering their lunch or what have you. But yeah, otherwise she's at the bar. I don't know if we ever established, I know I haven't, but I don't have a physical description of this Jillian Hobbs. Do you have one by chance?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm thinking like 30 to 35, maybe pushing 45, depending, because she's a field agent supervisor.
Right.
Blonde, probably mid-length hair, straight. And just to change things up a little bit, not blue eyes, but maybe she has more like hazel or brown, depending on the lighting. But yeah, she's just chilling at the bar. She's got a small drink in one hand, and wow, Wiggles, really, you couldn't just type that in TTS? You just had to go put it straight into the stream chat. Sorry, Wiggles is over here saying genital things. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, in one hand she's got the drink, in the other hand she's got her link device, and it looks like she's just scrolling through like the local news and whatnot. And she's, "Hey, Joseph, how you been? It's been a little while." She'll stick out a hand for you to shake and all that.
Yep. I shake her hand.
How you
Hello, Miss
been?
Hobbs. How are you?
I'm good.
I've been all right.
I'm good. I got moved up a little bit. I'm not. Last time we talked, and I'm assuming that something like that, a little over a year to a year and a half ago is the last time you probably saw her face to face. She says something to the effect of, when last we saw each other, I was an actual field agent supervisor, but now she is a supervisor of field agent supervisors, which I can't think of what that term would be, but you get the idea. She got a promotion.
Field agent supervisor manager.
Yeah, there you go. Fucking Wiggles is trying to paraphrase my shit back into Star Wars.
Well, I tell her congratulations.
Thank you. Here, sit down.
what-
Let's have a drink or something.
What brings her way out here?
Well, it's funny you would ask that. I got your message. I bet you're wondering how I got it so fast. Ironically,
Definitely.
it's because I'm here. No, so Rebco chartered a flight for me back to Earth to pick up a bunch of new recruits. Well, I think we're calling them applicants now, but I think you know what I mean.
I just nod. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm actually my next flight is tonight around midnight to get me back the rest of the way to Earth, and then probably spend a day or two there filling out dumb paperwork and talking to these knuckleheads and getting them all loaded up on the spaceship and heading back out, all the way back out to Aurora.
Oh, really? That perks me up.
Yeah,
That's my home.
well, yeah, I mean, well, that's where we're at now. I out of character, I just assumed that Rebco is where Jillian is. Let me back that up. The office that she was attached to was on Aurora, or maybe somewhere along the way that's where she ended up in her current position.
Okay.
So if I'm missing something what you had intended or had envisioned, I apologize, but we can still roll with
it.
that.
It doesn't really matter where she's from. I just assumed both of those contacts were from the Tyrann office, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, so Gonna ride herd on a bunch of youngins back out to Aurora, and then once we're out there, well, you know how it is out there. People get lost in the outback all the time.
Definitely.
So, people go missing, people get banged up, weird things happen. Homesteaders go out for months at a time, and next thing you know, nobody hears from them, and they call us up to go check it out. So what have you been up to? Where are you at? Where are you going?
Well, I tell her what I'm up to, that I'm working for Flex and I'm the senior pilot on the Wayfinder. And
Wayfinder.
we're currently on our way to Beowulf.
I actually, I think I seen something about the Wayfinder a while back. Damn if I can't remember what it was. I'll have to. Of course, all my big notes are back on Aurora, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But something Wayfinder, something Carter. No, Crater. No, I don't know. It's not important, but that's good. You're the man on the stick then.
Yep.
That's awesome. Do they have actual upward movement possibilities for you there, though? I think that's part of the reason why you're not with us anymore.
I'm just trying to find my place, really. Upward movement for me, I kind of had enough of leadership in the Navy. That was getting to be just a little more than I wanted to do. I liked doing my job and not managing all those people. So I'm looking for somewhere where I can just excel at what I do and be happy doing it.
Gotcha. Well, I got your note. Obviously, I'm going to be out of the loop for at least several weeks. Probably won't be until, what is this, May? Probably won't be until like August or September before I'm back on Aurora. But listen, you said you're heading to Beowulf. Do you know where you're going after that?
I don't, but I don't know. In the back of my mind, the direction we've been headed, I kind of wonder if we're not going to wind up at Beta Canum at some point. I know we have big field offices there, and wondered if you could give me contact information.
I don't have anything on me. I kind of, I only packed light, as it were, insofar as all my contacts and things of that nature. I just got this stupid little tablet with me. Honestly, I brought it because of the Mad Aviation. That's an Angry Birds reference, by the way. Just so I'd have something to do on the trip. But no, but listen. I'm gonna give you my personal contact identifier and a routing channel that it'll go directly to me, kind of like this message did. But this was more out of a random fluke than it was anything else. Just because I happen to be, only one jump away when you sent that message. But if you use this, and she gives you I want to say a slip of paper, but it wouldn't actually be a piece of paper. She sends you like a kind of like a peer-to-peer Jesus Christ, peer-to-peer instructions or something like that. It's basically her personal contact information and the routing that you would need to send the message through in order to get directly to her, and it's only possible because she's on this company chartered flight plan ship. If that makes any goddamn sense at all.
Oh, it does. But there's a hang up with that because I don't carry a link device.
She actually gives you one of those like.
Starts, when she starts trying to do that, I'm like, just let me see it, and she can show it to me, and with my neural bridge, I can capture that. And store it.
Yeah. She's like, oh damn it, no, Cyberman over here. Got it. Jesus. Okay, Google, take picture. God damn it, Wiggles. Right now, somebody's gonna be watching this video with their speakers up and their Android or some shit's gonna be like, what would you like to know? Here's one for the other side of the house. Alexa. There you go, guys. I got everybody. I should have gotten most of the internet people right there with that.
Hey,
yeah. Don't careful. Well, I have a headset on. My phone won't pick that up. So anyway, so basically, you've got contact information and a method by which to reach her. And what she's getting at is she's like, give me some time once I'm back in
Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora. Sorry, I had Tanstoffel in my notes right in front of me, staring at
Mhm.
me, but I didn't want to use that one yet. Yeah, when I get back on Aurora, I'll see what I can find out. Flex. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you to be careful. Flex is generically like they're trying to do the right thing, but I can't guarantee all of their people are on the same page as what the Flex general message is. So just be careful, okay?
I tell her I've seen a little bit of that already, so I'm definitely
Okay.
watching where I step.
Yeah, yeah. And then listen, you know the further out on the arm you get, the more weird things can be. You've been there, you've lived there, you grew up there. But listen, I don't think I'm supposed to tell you this. It, it's almost like they don't want people to know everything yet. But something I don't know how to explain it. Listen, I think Artur has gone dark. Station Artur has gone dark. I think. I don't have anything to validate my statement, but it's gotten things are a little bit weird out there right now.
No idea why.
I don't know. Just and real quick, out of character for those that don't know, Station Arcturus is a station in orbit of the star Arcturus. It's a French station. The fact that it's going dark is there's a word I cannot think of it. Not a red herring. It's not exactly foreshadowing. It is a literary term relating to a clue of some sort as to what may come later.
Chekhov's gun.
I wish I knew that one well enough to say yes or no.
So basically, Chekhov's gun is if there's a gun in a scene, it will be used later in
Okay, yeah,
the
let's go
novel.
with that. Let's go with that. Let's go with Chekhov's gun. Yeah, so the fact that Arctur has gone dark we'll just surmise it to be Chekhov's gun.
So I asked her, "Are y'all going to respond to that?"
I'm not. I wish I had a good answer. Listen, something got leaked over the news. Something about a missed check-in, and then that was it. Nobody else has said anything unless you look deep on the web. She wouldn't use the word web. She means link, obviously. Unless you do some real hard conspiracy side of the house research. If you go to conspiracytheory.com, you can find all kinds of things there. I don't know if that's a real website, by the way. But
no, the real website used to be tinfoilhat.com.
what is it?
Tinfoilhat.com.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's still up or not, but that was the real website.
Yeah, so if you go looking on those websites, you can find all kinds of information about, the things that were leaked or not leaked and what it means in government cover-up and ships disappearing in the night. And she basically alludes to all that. But, like, the official word is everything's fine. I've also been out of the loop for the last couple of weeks because, getting here from out there, I don't know
Right.
what's happened in the last, month or so. God only knows what could have happened.
What ship is she traveling on? I asked her that.
I didn't come up with a name, so I'm gonna shit one really fast. The Pooh Boy. Wow, suddenly
Pooh Boy.
I can. Yeah, there you go. The Hoo Boy Express. I don't know what the hell that sounds like. The USS Denied. It's the Google Denial. The Google Denier. There we go. Jesus Christ, you really fucked me up. I should have had a shit name. Yeah, it'll be the.
It's the Denali.
Yeah, there you
There we
go.
go.
Denali. There you go. There you go. The Denali. That's great. Let me write that
right.
down before I forget.
I'll tell her that, I'll see what I can find out, if anything.
Okay.
As we go deeper in. I said that definitely concerns me a little bit, seeing as how that's one hop away from my home.
Yeah. And,
So-
just again, out of character, historically, or at least in this particular era, they don't know what's out beyond Arcturus. Nobody's really explored out there very far yet. So the fact that Arcturus has gone dark is, there's a number of possibilities as to why it may have gone dark, if it has actually gone dark.
Do I know the nature of that station?
The general answer is it's a scientific research station. Arcturus is a unique star, and I forget exactly why. I want to say because it's like a red giant or something along those lines, and so that was the purpose of that station, was to explore that, or not explore, study that star.
Okay.
I want to say there's more to Arcturus than that, and I mean in the real world sense, as far as what is unique about it. But I'm pretty sure it's because it's a pretty big red giant, that there's an interest in that star, and that there would be some scientific agency out there studying it and taking solar samples or whatever it is that scientists do.
Right.
Other than that, she doesn't really have a whole lot more information. She does say that Pendergast has left the company several months ago.
Okay.
There was some sort of pay dispute, and last she knew, as of maybe a month or so before she left for her current trip, I'm assuming Pendergast is a he. I only have Pendergast written in here.
It's Charles, yeah.
Okay. Pendergast is signing up with some Merc group in Tanstoffel.
Okay.
That was back in March, and she hasn't been able to keep up with him since. She hasn't been able to keep up with, Jesus Christ. She has not been able to keep up with him very much since he left the company. He was pretty angry and, in fact, actually devastated that so many years of his life at Rebco were basically tossed aside. Because if I remember right, you had him at like the corporate level.
Yeah, he's a VP of off-world operations.
Yeah, and he was pretty angry and upset about all that. But she also closes that idea, or that particular line of dialogue with, but sometimes that's how corporate life can be, especially when you're higher up on the ladder than most.
Yep.
Because you can suddenly be let go for no apparent reason, at least none that she knows of. In the real world, corporate decisions like that do happen, unfortunately, and usually revolve around things like, "Oh, you've been here for that long? That's awesome.
Yep.
We're saving.
We're
cutting. We're cutting budgets, and one way we're doing it is reducing the amount of retirement packages we have to pay out. So you're going to want to update your resume."
Yeah, out of character, been there, done that.
Yeah, I realized that one might have gotten a little too close to home, but not so much with you, but like in general for some people. In fact, Australia says he rolled a mishap on his terms as corporate gent. Yeah, he didn't make his survival roll. But other than that, yeah, no. Hobbs doesn't have anything else that she's got some basic small talk, and I'm sure she's asking you similar questions about, hey, have you finally found anybody to settle down with? What's Flex really like? What do you know about your mission? What is your mission? Other than just going to Beowulf because Beowulf is there.
I tell her right now they're pretty close-lipped with me. They still consider me the intern, and I'm making air quotes.
I see what you did there, you son of a bitch.
I said, but one of the guys tested my skills the other day with a sim program, and
how'd that go?
It went really, really well. And it was harder than the ones that Flex actually has back at corporate. But it was pretty easy, but it was kind of limited to, it didn't take advantage of the fact that I'm cybered and all of that. So they're going to work on that. I'm helping him out by improving.
Yeah, maybe Flex should take you guys on and put you in their academy and have you guys develop the training curriculum.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing my ass. She might be giggling at that a little bit too. I don't know, but I'm just like, no, whatever. I'm reminded of. I want to say it was Star Trek 2, where Kirk is like, oh no, maybe it was Star Trek 5, where Kirk was like, whatever you do, don't let them put you on a desk. But yeah, beyond that, yeah, she doesn't really have a whole lot else for you. Her purpose here, obviously, for literary purposes, was to plant Chekhov's gun, as it were. In case anybody...
Planted.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for meeting me and everything, and I tell her I need to get back to the ship. We're going to be leaving in the morning as well.
Yeah, and I assume that assuming you guys would have had at least some decent relationship, professional or otherwise, she'd probably ask after, some of your family members or somebody like that. Just to, hey, tell your, I don't know. Some people would say something like, tell your mom and them I said hi.
Yep.
She would probably throw
I'm
something
like, you'll
similar.
probably see them before I do.
Right? But yeah. Anything else you want to get after, or do you want to just head straight back to the ship and say you make it back to the ship around 7 or 8 and call it a night for yourself as well?
That's good. Yep.
Okay. That takes us to Commander Wyatt. XO, my XO.
I'm gonna buy a dirt bike.
You're gonna go buy a dirt bike. That is fucking
I'm
amazing.
gonna go buy a dirt bike.
All right. I'm just trying to picture this 40-something-year-old, probably not 8 feet tall, but 7 foot tall, reed thin, old guy riding a dirt bike out in the hot back somewhere.
I'm gonna go buy a dirt bike. I've been doing a lot of social things. I just got paid. I'm gonna go buy a dirt bike.
That totally checks out. Really, it does.
And then I'm gonna go ride the dirt bike.
Yeah, so I think in your case, you spent... I imagine you probably would have stayed on the ship until morning, probably doing a little bit of research into finding or getting a hold of and setting up meetings for various brokers and try to figure out which one you want to work with, and then probably spend most of the Friday, earlier part of the day, completing those trade deals and coordinating, with the dock workers and a couple of people on the ship to actually get the cargo offloaded and the new cargo uploaded. And then you probably spend I don't know, maybe an hour or two looking for a decent dirt bike shop. And then you find one and you find a way to get it out to where you can go ride. And now it's probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you're finally riding. Now the cool part, again, I want to point out is, it's perpetually late afternoon, early evening sunlight here. So even though it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it actually looks like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon all the time, because the planet is tidally locked with the star. As you're getting ready, like you've got the bike put together, you've got it adjusted for your body shape, you've got the fuel loaded in, you've got the engine cranked over, she's got that nice dirt bike purr that you've been looking for, and that's when you get a message. You receive a message. It's tagged simply with a man's name, Roland Hartman. And the initial lead-in to this message is, XO, if I could get a few minutes of your time, I would like to talk about Claude Bardine. And
is that a name I should be familiar with?
You would be, because at the very least you would know that Claude Bardine was the previous XO. The one that was removed because of alleged fraud and embezzlement and things of that nature. These are the voyages of the starship Amazon under the command of Captain Jeff Bezos. Wow. Okay, sorry.
Oh, sure, read his stuff. I'm way funnier.
Listen, I was reading it. I just didn't read it all out loud because it involved different body parts I didn't really want to get into. But yeah.
No, the spaceship stuff doesn't have anything with generals. It's fine.
Yeah. To build a goal and upsell crap they don't need. Walmart flies by. I saw that a moment ago, and now I see it now, and I realize what you're trying to do. It's the shot of the Enterprise as it zooms by, as they're saying something like space.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, got it. But instead of the Enterprise, it's Walmart.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get this message from this Roland Hartman requesting an opportunity to sit down and talk to you. He gives you, cell phones today, you can drop pins in messages and it shows various places. In this one, he does something similar and it shows a sidewalk sandwich shop that, based on the not Google Street View, has an extensive outdoor eatery in the middle of a downtown-like area, so there's plenty of people in the imagery that you're seeing. So it does appear to be, safe. If this guy were to try to stab you, this would not be the place to do it. USS Free Enterprise. Nice.
Well, he said damn it when he got the message because he's finally going to do something fun.
Of course.
He
Exo's job is never
sighs.
done, my friend.
But I
Sorry, go
got
ahead.
the dirt bike.
I know, right?
That's right.
Listen, you know, if this was GTA, you just ride that dirt bike right up to the sandwich shop. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, like it can. Okay, so the dirt bike, according to what the book says, it can integrate with the autonomous driving system of the city. So I can ride it over. I just can't, dirt bike over
Yeah.
and go vroom vroom. Yeah, no, I received the message. I sent him an acknowledgement, and I'm not gonna change clothes. I'll just go in the street pads for the dirt biking, and I'll go meet him up.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you do. You're like, motherfucker, I was this close to just ripping up some dirt out in the middle of nowhere, and your fucking ass wants to have a meeting with me.
Did he know? Does he have guys on me to know the exact time to ask?
No, your GM did. And I thought it was funnier and shit to do that to you. But yeah, so as you pull up to the sidewalk shop, it is exactly as your imagery showed. It's kind of like on the corner, so it's got a little bit extra frontage for the sidewalk eatery, the sidewalk seating. And of course, it's like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's plenty of people in and out, grabbing food, going, leaving work, going home, or whatever the case might be. So there's plenty of foot traffic. You do recognize Roland Hartman pretty quick because he gave you his contact information. He's he's an old, Jesus Christ, man with short dark hair, blonde eyes. Wow, dark hair and blonde eyes. What the hell was I thinking when I wrote that? Dark hair and blue eyes, clean shaven. Appears to be mid to late 30s. And looks like a man who makes some effort to keep himself in shape. He's not a CrossFitter, not in your face about it, but it's obvious that he does spend some time in the gym. But he's not like cut or anything like that. He's dressed in simple pants, button-up shirt, and the sleeves are rolled up to his mid forearm, and he's got a belt on his pants with a knife strapped to it. Not quite like a survival knife, but it's obvious that he has a knife hanging from his belt, and that he also has a brimmed hat to help keep the sun off his face, because of course it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon all the time as far as the sunlight is concerned. He says, hello, can I call you, what do I call you? I don't want to call you the XO, it seems a little odd.
This shift business, Mr. Wyatt will do.
Mr. Wyatt, yes. I'm Roland, of course. Pleasure. And he does not extend his hand. Otherwise, he's not trying to be, as far as you could tell, outright rude or anything. He just doesn't seem to believe in handshakes. And he says, "Please sit down. Should I order something for you? Do you know what you want from here? I hear the Jesus Christ." Corned beef. Oh my god. What's the word I'm looking for here? Somebody help me out. Corned beef sandwich.
Hash? Corned beef?
A Reuben.
A Reuben.
A Reuben?
There you go.
A Reuben?
Good god. My brain is working, but then it's not. At the same time. It's fucking annoying. Yes.
I blame the cat.
Yeah, yes, do that. The Reuben is really good. I recommend getting the Reuben and maybe some of the sweet potato fries, but I don't let me tell you how to
I'll take a Belcher coffee.
Okay, awesome. And he'll sip some water.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he says, so...
Ooh, it's almost like a soup.
Yeah.
It's on it.
So, he apologizes for interrupting anything that you may have been about to do. It seemed it was imperative that he got a hold of you at the earliest possible opportunity, and it took him a little while to figure out how to get a hold of you once he realized that the Wayfinder was here. He says that he knows the truth about Bardeen and Alyssa Howell. Alyssa Howell, for everybody that doesn't know or remember, Alyssa Howell was the pilot that Milligan replaced. He knows the truth about them. They're being set up, he says, by somebody on the ship. And more importantly, Bardeen would never tamper with the books because he loved the crew and was always working to make things better for the crew as best he could. And he kind of leaves it at that for a moment. He's kind of gauging to see how you respond to all that.
I gotta say, I'm not sure why you're telling me this. I mean, like, I'm not involved in their case. I'm not their lawyer. I mean, are you saying there's an agent on the ship? I mean,
he gives you one of those looks where he's like, "I'm not." he's basically saying something. His body language is like, "I'm not saying there is, but I'm definitely not saying that there isn't."
Look, that's not actionable. If you're just gonna fucking jerk me around, I got a lot of dirt biking to do.
Okay, that's fair, and I see now why you might be a little testy about my interruption. There has to be somebody on the ship setting this all up. Bardeen wouldn't do this, and Howell wasn't even shouldn't have been implicated. I'm not even sure how that happened. Howell isn't. It's like, I'm trying to find where I have it in my notes. I'm trying to figure it out. Give me a second. There was a reason why
GM is loading.
Yeah, GM is loading. Wow, GM.net.
Please stand by.
Yeah. God damn it. Oh. Yeah. Howell was never interested in Bardeen while they were both on the ship. Her interests were entirely in other directions while he was still aboard. So I don't know where that came from, but here's the thing. Jesus Christ, I just saw it, now I can't find it. What the fuck? Listen, I'm gonna come straight forward with you.
GM 404.
Right. There is indeed a spy or somebody on the ship actively working against your efforts. And it got Bardeen relieved, and it got Howell called up and caught up in this message, or excuse me, in this mess. I don't know what exactly, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. Been trying to figure it out myself ever since we got back to Alpha Centauri before that last refit. I was the former mechanic's mate on that ship until we returned. And when I learned that the EXO had been tossed, I'm not going to use these words, but I definitely took some vacation time without approval. And he kind of looks around a little nervously, in fact. Because Bardeen is my best friend. We've been best friends for years, and there's no way anything that's being suggested about him is accurate, or even close to it, for that matter.
Okay. I mean, this is a particularly difficult situation, right? Okay. You're a stranger to me. I don't know your record. I don't know anything about that. I don't know who you are. You're just bringing me hearsay without any evidence provided, which means that even if I did believe you, I don't have anything to act upon it. And you've already stated that you're biased against what's happening already by being this best friend who's already willing to break the rules in order to do what you want, because you just said you took leave time without permission. I'm not really sure what you want me to do in this position.
I know some of the people on that
I
ship.
hope you can understand why I'm hesitant to offer you any amount of trust.
That's completely fair.
You say there's a spy on board. Okay, fine, there's a spy on board. ... and
I'm trying to piece things together. I don't have all the information I need to exonerate Bardeen. I know something is going on, and I know whatever it is that is taking place on the Wayfinder, it has something to do with something else out there. And he does one of those like wide arm gestures to indicate he's talking about out beyond even this planet, possibly even the entirety of the French arm. Things don't add up. Something happened. I I have this in my notes too. I'm trying to remember where I put it. I did not put my notes in a very coherent manner. Rodance, I know you can hear me when I said that because I saw you just now chime in with something. And go ahead, cue your OneNote reference here. God damn it.
Obsidian's a good note application.
Rodance gives me grief every now and again in Blood and Glory because I don't always have the best notes either. Clearly, I don't. Anyway, he basically indicates that something happened during their previous cruise. Notes, man, they do be important. Yes. He says something to the effect of something had happened earlier in their previous cruise where a couple people had died, and he believes it's all related. Something happened in early 2296, something that he hasn't been able to totally piece together, but he thinks there are some files and some comms logs that he can get his hands on, and once he does, it will paint a more full picture, and he can actually action that himself. Or at least turn it into the appropriate authorities, or something to that effect. But in order to do all that, he's trying to make his way out to Vogelheim, which is further out in the French Arm, and he needs money to do it. And he's willing to sell you some of his information for 10,000 Libra, which he believes will be sufficient money for him to get the rest of the way out to Vogelheim, as well as living expenses between here and there.
That's a lot of money.
It is. He's got a long way to go.
That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of hot air for $10,000. You have to show this is worthwhile. You have to give me something I can verify independent of you. And you have a hard time limit because the ship's captain wants to leave real damn soon. And so we're going to be leaving system in less than 12 hours, or however how long it actually is.
Yeah. He mentions,
and I hope I'm not being like too unreasonable. This is basically just a stranger going, "Hey, give me 10,000 money, and I'll give you super secrets."
Yeah,
like, dude. Oh,
yeah. No, I definitely built this encounter around the idea that I wanted you, the player, to sit there and go, is this motherfucker scamming me, or is this some real shit? He actually kind of looks at you and he says, I know you're on a tight time limit, and I'm kind of restricting myself. If you don't believe me, talk to Levon Broyles and verify that I was a member of the crew until we put into port at Tyrann late last year. So for clarity's sake, out of character, the Wayfinder was on basically a 4-year cruise through the French Arm, and then around about the middle to late November of 2296, they docked in Alpha Centauri, spent several weeks doing refit, and then by April is when you guys got there as the player crew, and the crew was all stood back up and whatever, and set back out to go back out and do spacey things. Australis, that is fucking hilarious. Australis says, it's a changeling. You thought you were playing 2300, but Omar's flipping the table and revealing you're actually playing Star Trek Adventures 2D20. Nice. No, we're not, but nice. So yeah, back to the topic here. Hartman says, if you talk to Levon Broyles, who last I knew was still on the ship as the chief steward, he will confirm that I am who I say I am, that Commander Bardeen and I were indeed good friends, and that also, most likely, Broyles will also not exonerate, anyway, legal term here, corroborate, there we go, that Howell and Bardeen were not in this affair that other people seem to be putting on. If you talk to Broyles and you find yourself believing that I may actually be useful to you, I will obviously be here and before you get too far from the planet, you should be able to trigger the release of funds, and I will email. He doesn't use the word email. He'll use the 2300 equivalent term. I will email
Space
you. Yeah, he will space mail you the files that he's willing to share with you for that money. Is that an agreeable compromise to our situation?
Okay. Okay. So here's the first complication.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, have $10,000. I just bought a motorcycle.
He doesn't know that. He's trying. Listen, he's. Go ahead. Yeah. So do you say that? Do you insinuate that in character?
No, not yet.
That's pretty funny though.
$10,000. I'm not going to actually embezzle ship funds in order to show that someone else did embezzle ship funds, because that seems that's backwards.
Yeah, that seems quite counterproductive.
So that's not going to happen. And damn to be sure I'm not going to ask my wife to cover that or 4K.
Right?
Honey, you won't believe this. This random jerk off says he's got super secrets for $10,000. I gotta do this. Give me 4K. Nah, I don't think she's gonna go for that either.
No, and what wife would? What wife? Not just your wife, but what wife would do that?
So I'll say I'll politely excuse myself from the table. I'll go out of earshot, or at least best what I can figure is out of earshot, because this motherfucker might have cyber ears or whatever. And I'll give the steward a call.
XO.
And I'll try to verify the information he's giving me.
XO.
Hey,
I wasn't expecting it. Are we good on? I thought we were good on stores. We check them like all the time.
Yeah, no. This is. I don't know. I'm having a weird day, Mr. Boyle. So guess what? You get to have a weird day.
Fucking amazing opener. I'm sorry. That was great. I'm having a shit day, so guess what? You get to have a shit day too. What can I do to help you out, XO?
I have a gentleman here who is speaking to me in regards to the previous XO and the previous head pilot. They said they were crew on the ship beforehand, and they said your name toward to verify their claims.
Okay,
You
well,
are welcome to decline from this point forward and not go any further. That's fine. Like I said, this is a weird day.
I imagine this is something similar to a FaceTime call, and you can see on Broyles' face that he's having that, like, what the fuck? And also, like, do I really want to continue?
Wyatt looks exhausted, it's more so than normal.
Yeah. Broyles definitely takes a moment to really think about that, because he's like...
I mean, I know we haven't been working long together, so I hope I've earned some monochrome of trust. But if I haven't, that's totally understandable. So if you want to decline this at all, that's fine.
I'll be honest with you, sir. I'm actually a little curious. I barely even knew anything. Like, Bardeen was cool and all as far as the XO, but I mean, he had his moments. He was kind of a dick, but I guess maybe that's because he is the XO, and that's what XOs have to do. And Howl, who the fuck cares about Howl? She flew the ship. I made sandwiches. What the hell's this got to do with me?
Well, okay, so I need you to affirm that you want me to say the name before I say it. I don't want to put you in a position without your consent.
He's definitely, like, he almost has that fish out of water look, just because he's just confused and stupid curious at the same time. And he's like, sure, yes, sure, why
Fantastic, not? Thank you. I will give him the name, because I don't remember the name, because I have the short-term memory of a goldfish.
Roland Hartman is the name of the individual you're talking to.
Roland Hartman, he said he worked as a mechanic on board, and he said he was best friends with the XO.
That actually... Yeah, I played poker with him a couple of times. In fact, that son of a bitch owes me like 100 Libra. Where the hell is he?
You know what? He's on planet. You could probably ping him, but I prefer if you give me like 10 more minutes and then go collect your debts.
I don't want. Listen, I'm too deep in my own shit. Wait for me to get out of, and then you can get your shit. Okay, that's what I heard.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm not saying don't collect. Right? Just let me finish first.
Yeah, no. So roundabout, he obviously confirms that Hartman was the mechanic's mate on the ship previously, and that with his insinuating about the EXO and how basically whatever Hartman has said to this point is, it mostly checks out. Obviously, things are a little bit different because it's from Broyle's perspective, but one person sees a dark brown, the other one sees a tan. I don't know.
And Broyles, in case this is not obvious, I would prefer if you kept my question to ourselves. I'm not. This is probably just a red herring. This guy's probably just wasting my goddamn time. And like I'll hold out my phone and show him I'm in like dirt biking pads. And it's like I was about to hit the trails, and this motherfucker called me.
Yeah. Broyles.
Anyway.
So yeah, Broyles comes back with, "You're fine, EXO. It's not like I'm gonna go and have coffee with the captain or anything." Listen.
Yeah, no.
Good thing for you. You still got plenty of daylight left in the local day because it never ends. So
yeah.
Go hit the trails, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So, like I said, give me like 10 more minutes, and then I'll if you can't find him, ping me, and I'll ping you where he was. Okay.
How about when you wrap up there, ping me his deets. I don't think anybody at 2300. I don't even think anybody at 2100, let alone 23, still says deets. But anyway, ping me his contact, and I'll get that.
Well, bring it back. Microfilm deets.
Dewey Decimal deets and microfish. That should be the name of the episode. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, obviously you get off the phone. Hartman is he's trying to make it look like he's not actually watching you, but he's not doing a very good job of it. So as you return to him, he kind of has the, "Well, what did you learn?" kind of look.
All right. So you were a crew member on board. You were associated with the EXO. Okay, so that part is verified. So you are not lying about that. So that is a modicum of truth. However, I don't walk around with $10,000 in cash on me because that's just a big red sign saying, "Hey, mug me."
Yeah, right. I want to suggest. I feel like there is a way to set up a transaction and then have it, similar to post dating a check. I realized I just went back like 20 years with that statement.
So in real life, what you do is you would set up an escrow with an unbiased lawyer, and they'll transfer the money when conditions are met by both parties, right? That's how you do it in real life.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it in space fantasy world, but that's how you do it in real life.
I mean, I feel like something like you could, never mind the fact that we've already established it's something like close to dinner time, and most banks would be closed or closing.
You can do it with a broker.
I suppose you could, and God knows brokers always trying to make a sale and obviously make a cut. So he will suggest setting up something similar to that, where basically all you need to do is basically clear the release under specific conditions, and if he sees that, when he sees proof that all he has to do is meet those conditions and he'll get paid, that's when he will send you the little bit of dirt that he has. As opposed to, so basically what you'll do is you'll set the payment up even though you don't necessarily have the money on you, as it were.
I prefer there not to be a paper trail, and the escrow would write a paper trail. I'm willing to do a hands over cash thing. Tell you what, give me like 2 hours, right? And I'll look up a hotel with the lowest ratings,
This is the kind of shit you pay by the hour.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll meet here, and I'll text you the room number, and we'll do the exchange there.
Okay.
All right.
He definitely seems a little hesitant, especially when you mention hotel with the lowest ratings, because he has.
I don't say that out loud. That's what I look for when I
Oh,
pull
gotcha,
the fucking
gotcha.
air into my head or whatever.
Oh, gotcha,
That's what I look
Yeah.
for.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not going to go to a nice hotel. No, we're going to do something possibly illegal. So I want to go to a hotel where they don't care.
Yeah.
So that's either really, really cheap or really, really expensive. In the middle, they care.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
All
So
right,
yeah.
I'm gonna. So I was like, okay, fantastic, and then I'll finish up my word, and I'll transfer the location to the steward, and then I'll just start driving, and then once I'm, I don't know, about a block or two away, I'm gonna give Helwig a call.
Hellwig, ring.
Yo,
Ring.
Yep. What's up?
Hey, how comfortable are you with extortion?
I'll put it this way, EXO. If they're 6 feet under, they can't extort you.
No. I'm fine. We're the one who need to apply leverage to someone else.
Oh,
Yeah. This person supposedly has information. And I'll do this, with my bike helmet on or whatever, and I'm in traffic. So if I'm under surveillance, they're gonna have a hell of a hard time hearing me.
right.
And he says he's got information to help exonerate the previous XO and the previous pilot, and he says there's a spy on board. I didn't tell him shit.
Right.
I like the fact when Wyatt is getting more tired, he starts to swear a lot more. His professional decorum
Yeah.
is wearing thinner.
I do want to clarify one small thing. I don't think he would have actually used the word spy, but definitely would have pointed out that there is somebody on the ship that is not
An informant.
Yeah, like some sort of not good doer.
A deep throat.
Whoa. Oh, wait a minute. What the EXO and his wife do in the behind closed doors is not my business. Anyway.
But
But yeah.
When there's seismic activity, you don't come a knocking.
Right.
All right. Anyhow, so I'll send I'll send EXO a note. And say karaoke ?
Yeah. Tell me when you're in a more secure location to go over details.
Okay. I'll turn around and walk off the ship and kind of go to that coffee house I was at earlier, and say I got a secure location and go from there.
So I give him the person's name. I tell him that we'll meet up in about 2 hours. He wants the information for 10,000 Libra. I only got 6,000 on hand. So even if I was fully trusting information, I can't pay his price.
Right.
But
right.
10,000 Libra is a lot for what he so far has promised is a wet fart.
Fucking Australis. Right. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut it just for a quick second. Australis. Hey, EXO. Hey, Captain. I just need you to approve this payment of 10,000 Libra to buy a replacement toilet seat in the officer's crew quarters. Sign here, here, and here. Thanks. There you go. We solved it.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I won't interject in the middle of your guys'
I'm not going to embezzle to solve a case about embezzling.
I know, right? That's the funny part. That's hilarious to me. I didn't even think about that when I wrote this scene.
Well, now that you say that, all I'll think about is the old MASH episodes where Radar O'Reilly would come up to Henry Blake and just sign this. What am I signing? Just requisition form, sir. Next thing you know, they're like half the camp had passed.
Yeah, exactly. Please continue though.
So I'm gonna walk back on. I'm gonna walk back on board and kind of go over to the ship's armory and get my personal weapon.
Yeah, get out my pistol too.
All right. So I'll get his weapon, and then do you want to bring anybody else along with this? Because I think just the two of us might not be enough.
Okay, so here's a complication. I want to get the other PC involved, but I don't see like we don't have a connection. Do we have a connection? I forget or not. Like I said, memory of a goldfish. I probably shouldn't VM, but I am. Anyway, do we have a connection, Thorgard? I don't remember.
Not particularly, but I did come on after all this stuff started.
So okay, so that's a
So,
really
yeah,
good
in
point.
theory-
That means that you're not implicated.
Or he is the
New spy.
new spy, perhaps.
For a new generation.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Pepsi, calm down.
All right. So I'll leave him behind, but I'll bring our toys. And then do you want me to tell the CEO anything, or are we just gonna leave it?
No. This is fine. I'll give him the address. I'll give him the time period.
The XO
Okay.
has blessed off on the orders for you to go and do this. The XO's
Right.
word is enough.
Yeah.
He'll deal with the captain later.
Yeah, and fuck, I'll honestly bring the cash. Yeah, like I'll have to swing by the ship as well. Let's like you get my guns and whatever, leave the ship, and I'll come back on board and I'll get the money, and then we'll both meet up at the hotel room.
You know what I'm picturing now? Wyatt, this 7-foot tall, skinny as hell, wearing dirt biking leathers and this big black helmet, right? With a gun strapped to his chest, maybe like under the jacket. And then here's Hellwig riding on the back of the motorcycle, carrying a briefcase that's got 10,000 Libra cash in it as they speed back away from the ship, back out into the dusty roads.
And I have my armored jacket on and the armored duster on, and it just looks.
It just looks badass because here's the not quite setting sun that never moves.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. Please continue.
So we'll go, I guess, right on the back of the bike. Oh, good lord. And I'm just like,
Hang on tight.
yeah.
Yeah. How do you hang on? Like, are you trying to keep your man card and not put your arms around the XO?
I don't.
We're egalitarian in space future. You're running, bitch, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just like, that's just my gun poking you.
Jesus Christ. All right, so eventually.
So Thurgar, I would love Joseph's involvement in this. I don't want to close you out. So just because I'm having a failure of imagination doesn't mean you have to have one.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like you're right, because realistically, Milligan is just kind of, well, no pun intended here. He's just milling around the ship. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I want him. I also want to placate him in this crime too.
Yeah.
Implicate me in this too.
Yeah, bring it in, but also try to figure out like how to do it that fits the narrative. Like he's not involved in any of this. But that's the one thing I kind of racked my head around. Like, how do I get him involved? Like from the GM, like how do I write him in?
Well, the XO would know people personalities, and and if he's a shooter, you might be able to say that. So then we could just I'll bring up the fact that we need to mention. Maybe we need to get him involved and mention the karaoke schemes.
Well, here's what I'm thinking is you recognize in Milligan the potential usefulness, and because he's still very much new to the crew, it's probably, or at least arguably possible to sway him onto your little group's endeavors as opposed to him falling in with any other crowd on the ship.
Right.
I think Charles, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about there. Like, which group of people do I hang out with in my off time? Do I hang out with the homies over here? Do I hang out with the homies over there? I don't know why I said homies, but
yeah, no, I know what you're saying exactly. It's which person do I like to be out in town with?
Right.
I feel the safest with.
Right.
And also, as a player to player, are you okay with this being involved? Are you okay with this action with your character? That's also an important question to ask. I mean, I don't want your character to do anything you're not comfortable with either. So,
Oh, I'm pretty bored right now. Not in this game, I mean. But Joseph Milligan, is flying the ship, and other than that, he's just been kind of puttering around.
He's been looking for new things. He's been looking for new gun parts. So yeah, I think he wants something to do. He probably wants to bring his. Right. In fact, he wants to bring his gun out so he can try his new toys. I have one of
the heaviest laser sniper rifles that they make.
Okay. So how about this? So like, Hellboy can bring in the fact that like, with McAvoy, McAvoy gone MIA. It could be really helpful to use a third to strengthen our numbers. And
there you go. You need a new prospect for your club,
right? And it'd be good. Yeah.
I do want to point out real quick because I just happened to think about this. The law level does not allow for you guys to be wandering around with guns out in open. So
that was
whatever firearms you do bring, you're gonna.
Level
go ahead.
Doesn't allow us to sell illegal information or hold people at gunpoint for extortion either. So
I mean, listen. The law says no guns. If you're found with guns, then it becomes a problem. It's not a law until you break it.
Remember, everything's legal when the cops aren't around.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also why I picked a hotel with a very low rating. It should be also in a very shitty part of town
where the cops themselves are hesitant to go, even in the 24th century. All right, so I guess we could just go ahead and fast forward a little bit.
Yeah. So we had that conversation. So then we have a meeting with Milliken about whether or not he wants to be included in our espionage.
Okay. I'm like, well, what is it exactly?
So we're off the ship and we're like somewhere secluded, so and whatnot. And then I'll surreptitiously activate my bug jammer because I'm just getting more fucking apparently.
Charles, go ahead and hit them with the cone of silence gif. Or meme, whatever. I don't know why I say GIF. I never say GIF. But anyway, you know what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, long story short, Milligan is brought up to speed.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. There's
a spy on board. About Dude, right? That you're going to talk to him, why? All right, so
yes.
I interject. I'm like, if he's trying to clear this guy's name, why is he extorting money to do it?
He's trying to get to another starport and he needs money to get there.
Okay, there's other people he can get money from. He can take out a loan. He can do all sorts of things. But why would you say, I'm not turning over information that's going to exonerate my friend unless you pay me?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
No, this is
it makes perfect sense. I'm just kidding.
No,
go ahead.
This is why I'm saying it would meet up in my advantage. I don't even have assurances he's working alone.
Right.
So it was the fact that he managed to prove enough to a point that he was a former crew member on board the ship and that he did personally know the previous XO. So, he's...
That could just mean he's part of it.
That could mean he's just part of it. Like I said, yeah, no. The truth is, trying to find the spy on board has been difficult. We've been trying the various things, and we haven't managed to narrow down who it is. The reason why we brought you in is because you're the newest crew member, and unless I'm really fucking unlucky, you should not be involved in any of this.
And I just nod. How do you? What makes you think there's a spy on the ship? What makes you think there's one on the ship? Because you obviously seem like there's one on the ship.
Yeah, there's been people. Sorry. Don't let me take up all the theater room. Go ahead and talk.
I was going to say, should I show him the message? And I kind of tap my arm.
Yeah, and then White nods.
All right, so I kind of pull a stick out and I hand it to him. And I say, there's a message on here. And he gets the secret-coded message that me and X.
You're talking about the one I gave you guys last week, correct?
Yep.
The one with all the X's in it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I jack into the little nerd stick and snatch a copy.
Geek stick! There's a difference between geeks and nerds, damn it!
Look, just because it's a My Little Pony USB stick doesn't mean it's a nerd stick, okay? Okay.
I'm picturing this.
Man.
I'm picturing this thumb drive with My Little Pony. Imagery all over it now. Oh my god!
Until this little scenario
Find a
blew
Hello
up.
Kitty one.
Until this little scenario blew up, I was going to play a trick on everybody by using one of our keywords, but I think I'll save it for later.
Actual karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna talk to everybody, and the captain's talked to me about karaoke, and I hear it's a really big deal about here, so I've got something planned out. I'm like, I just need y'all to meet me here at this particular time, at this place.
It's just a
show up
honky
and
tonk
it's a
bar.
karaoke bar.
Yeah, it's just a honky tonk karaoke bar. Everybody else shows up. These guys show up with guns and armor.
Yeah. So this rifle, I really can't. I mean, there's no way I'm gonna hide this SVB.
No.
But I can carry a cutlass with no problems, right?
I believe I'm going strictly off of memory. I believe bladed weapons are okay.
Okay, so I'll take my cutlass.
What's the LL of this place?
The one that's blades only.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
This
place is high population and high tech.
Give me a moment and I can look it up. You guys continue doing what you're doing and I'll interject.
Yeah, no, so I don't know if he's working alone. I don't know if this information is legitimate. And it's weird that he's not giving it to me to help his friend. His need for payment might be legitimate. Sure, fine, whatever. And it's weird that he didn't come to the steward, although Broyle didn't seem to know him very well. So maybe it would have been an equal shot in the dark if he went to the steward over me.
It's weirder that he didn't just give his information to Flex.
It's weirder that he didn't give the information to the previous as a defense attorney. That's what that is.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. No.
So
I'm just gonna throw this out here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. I mean, Skipper's really trying to push hard for us to get out to wherever we need to get to.
Yeah, he really wants to haul ass. I mean, we're barely getting any time in station.
Yeah. So and they're not getting enough time to do successful trading or other shenanigans. So there might be some validity to this, boss. We may want to investigate some more.
I mean, if I had more time, I would love to vet this guy, but
right.
Frankly, I don't.
I'm just gonna say this: being sometimes I've had to develop agents and got information, and you just kind of have to go with your gut. So I mean, we may. Other times
so here's the thing: I would be kicking myself in the pants if this was an actual lead and I didn't go for it.
Right.
But like at the same time, I don't want to get fucking stabbed.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you. So let's just
now we're bringing arms, but that's last resort. All right, you only use them if he goes violent. I'm not trying to leave a blood trail or anything like that, but I don't want to be stupid either.
Right.
Bringing $10,000 and not having a gun just means you get robbed.
I'm good.
All right. Now the other thing is, I don't have $10,000.
There's the rub.
Wait, what?
Hey, real quick side note: the law level is 8, and that's where
that's high.
Yeah, and that is where blades become illegal. If I'm reading the table right, so we'll go with it. Kind of depends on what you're doing and what the local law says at the time about whether or not bladed weapons are okay or not. Please continue.
So, yeah, let's just go meet let's get to the hotel room first. Let's get the room set up, and be ready to deal with some karaoke type of things.
Yeah.
And did you brief him about what karaoke means amongst us?
I say the captain kind of did a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sometimes we do get off the book jobs for additional money. We'll report. This is weirder than that.
This is weirder than that. All right.
When I used to ship freight, in Barnard Store and Earth and stuff like that, I didn't have to deal with any of this stuff. It was a quiet life. Drank my shit coffee. I had a good woman. It was fine. And then fucking pirates blew up my ship, and he trails off.
I'm sorry I keep laughing in the background. You guys should know it by now. I'm too easily amused. This is awesome. Please continue. Don't let me get in the way.
Right.
So unless we need any more prep work, I guess we go to the shitty hotel.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. And so, yeah, I think in short, what we end up with is you three are in the hotel room, and once you are satisfied that you're ready to do what you're going to do, whatever it may be, I imagine you're going to send a message or something like that to Hartman, and then Hartman eventually shows up with a knock on the door.
One of us is in the room, one of us in the bathroom, counting cockroaches.
Counting cockroaches. That checks out, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, so knock at the door. Who's answering the door?
I will.
Yeah, sure. Fantastic. Okay, and I guess that means you guys in the bathroom counting cockroaches.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I'll look through the people and describe the dudes. And say, this who we looking for, boss?
And I look steadily towards the GM.
I blanked. I'm sorry.
I looked.
So
I looked
sorry.
through the people.
Yeah.
And I kind of described the characters, right? Their
Oh
height,
yeah,
their weight,
short dark hair, blue eyes, clean shaven. Looks
Right,
like he's about
yeah.
35, 38. Yeah, that's him.
Okay, so then I turn around and I say, yeah, that looks like that's them.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So I'll.
My gun's not present. Like it's like behind my back and stuff like that, and.
Yeah. So. Sorry. Yeah, he's there. It's a little bit later in the evening, but of course it still feels, because of the sun, it still feels like it's about 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon. He's there. He's got like a kind of a leather jacket on over what he had on earlier in the day. And he's just knocking on the door, waiting for somebody to let him in.
All right, so I'm gonna undo the security locks and open the door. I kind of have my own hand on my own pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, well, come on in, gentlemen, but stand over by and I point to one wall kind of near the door, and I say, you guys need to stand there real quick. And
yeah, it's just one guy, by the way. Just one person.
Okay. Oh, just one person? Yeah, so then I turn around and I take Exo's little bug sweeper and run it across them as I pat them down.
Yeah, he's definitely got the... So Hartman's definitely got that, like, whoa, I was not expecting you, and oh my god, I was not expecting all this. Holy shit, what the fuck? But he doesn't fight it. He may say a few things along the way, but nothing, like, overly outrageous or what have you. But it's clear he's like, what this was not part of the... What the fuck? What okay, are we good now?
All right, I'm going to put 5,000 in cash and Libra out on the bed. It's like, okay, cool. So there's half the cash. You tell me what you know. If I like it, I'll give you the rest of the cash I have.
All right. Listen, he does one of those moments. Like, I don't know if you're watching the stream, you'll see that I'm pressing on the bridge of my nose a little bit. And he does that with one hand for a moment. And he's kind of like frustrated, but also exasperated. And he's like just trying to make things work. And so he takes a breath and he's like, okay.
The cash is real. It's here, so,
But it's half of the cash that I need to get to Vogelheim. That's the problem.
Yeah, you tell me the information. If I think it's good enough, I'll put out the rest of the cash I have.
All right.
Let me stress, I'll put out the rest of the cash I have.
yeah, I caught that. Okay, so he watches Fritz or Hellwig super close while he does this, and he opens his jacket up. And pulls out. He's doing all this very slowly. Like, he's watching you. He's like, I know what you are. You're the gunman. He doesn't say any of this shit, but he's like, you're the fucking bouncer. I know how this works. So he's like, slowly and carefully.
I run up to him real quick, and I run my hand through the jacket, run my hand, and I say, okay, he's clean.
Yeah,
Kind of pat him down.
he does have. By the way, I'm sorry, I should have stressed this earlier. He does have a gun at the small of his back, but it's nothing big and clearly meant for like point defense or not. What the fuck? Personal holdout is what they call it in Star Wars. It's just a little itty bitty, basically a 25.
Yeah.
It's nothing big, but it's enough to get away.
Yeah, and I'll say go ahead and put that in the bathroom. You can get that after this is done.
Yeah. But in his jacket pocket is a geek stick. Not a nerd stick, a geek stick. It's a geek stick, and he pulls it out.
Anime. It's got Goku on
it. It's got Naruto on it. There you go. That's like literally the only fucking anime I know because my kid watches it, or used to. Anyway, he pulls out this thumb drive and he just holds it out in front of him for one of y'all to take it, and he says on there is a video from Terrain earlier last month.
Yeah, okay, and so I'll take the portal comp and I'll plug it in and I'll watch it at twice speed, I guess, just to skim through it.
No, you guys listen. It's about 5 minutes. I'm sorry, I wanted you to see the original that I have at least. As far as I know, it's not been doctored, but you got to let it run at normal speed, and it shows. So where's my notes? Okay. In return, the file he sends you or gives you or whatever, it's a video recording of what appears to be a man wearing a vac suit, but his face is covered. You can't identify him. Placing a number of small shaped charges along a bulkhead inside a space station. The markings of the interior of the station that you could see do indicate that this is the Terrain Interplanetary Starport, which is where the campaign began. The view appears to be from that of a security camera, and while it's a little bit grainy and a little bit grayed out in some spots, the vac suit carries clear markings. I'm going to have to explain this, so work with me. So the markings on the vac suit let me back up. You know how when you have, say, a book with a sticker on it, or any kind of decal is on something for a number of years, and then you take it off, and it has that one part that isn't as faded out as everything else is? The markings on this spacesuit correspond to decals or whatever that were on there at one point in time, but they are of a unique nature that anybody paying attention and would know better would recognize that this vac suit was used by the United States Space Force. At one time, there was a name stenciled on one of the breastplates, and obviously the name's not there anymore, but what is very clear is that part of that name appears to have ended with IGGS.
IGGS.
Yeah. And it looks like there was 2 other letters. So what it looks like is at one time the stencil contained like a first initial and a period, and then 2 letters that are difficult to make out in the video, and then it ends with IGGS.
All right. IGGS. Okay. Fantastic.
Hartman doesn't say anything until you're done watching the video.
Did y'all hand me his pistol?
Yeah.
I thought I
Yeah.
heard you. Okay.
Yeah, we put it in the bathroom so that way he can't get easy access to it, and he's probably unaware that you're in there.
Yeah.
So I
kinda
unloaded.
tossed
If it
back
has
to
one
the
in the
door.
chamber, I just throw that one away.
No, he didn't
but
have
I'm
one in
gonna-
the chamber.
Okay.
He just had a pistol. It's one of those. It's literally just a little pistol with maybe 10 or
A
12
wallet gun.
rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're like
I'll
no
just-
bigger than the size of a 22 for that matter.
Yeah. I'll strip all the rounds out of it and I'll hand it back to him in pieces.
Oh, are you coming
when
out of
it
the
comes
bathroom,
time
or are
for
you
the-
still in there?
Oh, I'm staying. They just act like they put it in there on the counter or whatever, and I pick it up and,
Oh,
and
gotcha,
take it
gotcha,
down. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so that way he can't like run in there and try. Yeah, no, that's
Yep.
great. I like that. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so you gotta realize this isn't a lot, right? I mean, I can see that there's wording on the back suit, right? But here's the thing: can't see the goddamn face. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people can put on a lot of different vac suits. Like, I'm just gonna break down the basics of how vac suits work, right? The little space suit you get in so that way space doesn't kill you, and multiple people can wear the same vac suit.
Yes, I hear you. Let me explain before you go too far. This is the attack that happened last month at the Terrain Interplanetary Space Station. This video came from onboard security that I was able to acquire as part of my own investigation, and this is why I need to get to Vogelheim. There's a piece to this puzzle that I'm missing. This piece of the puzzle implicates somebody from the Wayfinder. And you could tell for a moment he almost said our ship until he realized he's actually part of that ship's crew anymore. And he stalls for a second to try to figure out how to best phrase it. And that's when he says the Wayfinder. This attack was put together as part of a larger particular pattern that has happened over all three arms. And this individual, whoever he may be, which may or may not be anything to do with the name that we no longer see on his spacesuit, this individual is related to that group, that is related to a series of attacks that have happened in the last 2 years across all three arms. And the reason I need to get to Vogelheim is to get the last bit of information I need to put all of this together to implicate who this person on the ship is. And again, he almost says our ship. Who this person on the ship is, what his connection to that organization is, and what the big scheme or whatever it is. Like, he kind of starts going off, and at this point it sounds almost babbly, and it sounds almost tinfoil hat kind of stuff, but there's actually parts of it that kind of make sense given what you guys already know that maybe he's not aware of what you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I mean, as he starts to ramble, I'll grab him, and I'll basically, I don't want to say slap him around, but shake him around and going.
Yeah, like you jerk him a little bit just to get his attention.
Yeah, so like, okay, dude, let's not babble. We're all talking here, serious people. Let's just have a conversation here. All right. What's the organization? And I mean, I haven't seen the video. Exo's seen the video, but it sounds like it was somebody putting on a spacesuit, doing something there. And you said that the train thing. I mean, you know, they're blaming the empire of mankind, and the nets. Some of the other security nets are saying something else. What do you know, and how do you know it? And why are you investigating this?
And why am you turning this into the defense attorney for your friend?
Because I can't.
I kind of cock an eyebrow at that one.
Yeah, I bet. I can't trust them. They're all related to Flex, and I think Flex is part of it. I think Flex is part of the supply chain for the Empire of Mankind to do the things they're doing, because only Flex is this active in all three arms, and so is the Empire of Mankind. I think they're related.
You know, I can't see that.
He's like, you know, he's out of line, but he might be right.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Again, I'm too easily amused. Please continue.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just. You know, this all just sounds really shady as hell, man.
You're right. It does. I don't know how to. And he starts almost going in, not so much a tangent, but like he mentions the Empire of Mankind. He mentions all three arms, and he mentions the Duke of Beta Canum.
I'm like, slow down. I mean, first off, why did you start investigating this?
Okay. Right? Okay. No, you're right. You did ask that, and I totally missed that. I apologize. Claude Bardin was one of my best friends for years. We, not entirely at the same time, but fuck it. We basically joined Flex at the same time. His career path took him up to EXO over a number of years. My career path only went so far with, you know, being in the mechanics. And I wasn't always a good guy. Okay. Clearly, he was getting ready to go off on another like tangent or whatever, and he catches himself and he brings himself back in. Bardeen always looked out for me. Claude always looked out for me. I don't know what happened. Something happened. I can't remember the name of the world. Crater, I think, is one of the colonies. Crater, Carter. Anyway, it's another world in the French arm, and he mentions it. I wish I had my fucking notes with me. Anyways, something happened to two of our crew out there, and ever since, something changed amongst the whole timbre of the crew changed. I don't even know how best to explain it or how to describe it. It just changed. And then over the next several months, we made it back to Terrain. The XO spends 2 months confined to quarters because of allegedly cooking the books. That doesn't make any sense to me. The XO was always looking out for the crew. Somebody could easily say he was an asshole, because yes, even I had times where I was pissed at him because of some of the decisions he made. But when I was calm again and looked back at it after the fact, he was making the right decision for the benefit of the crew. Not even the ship, not even Flex, but for the crew. He loved the crew. Why would he fuck with the books knowing that the books are what gives the crew their bonus every year? Why would he do that? And why was he confined? It was all something related to Crater. I'm going to keep calling it Crater. There's a world somewhere in the freaking French arm, and I can't quite think of the name, and I didn't write it down when I should have. I apologize. I'm sometimes a shitty GM. So whatever happened, he got locked up. When we made it back to port, they pulled him off the ship. A couple months later, I find out that the pilot got implicated somehow. This doesn't make any sense to me, none whatsoever. I don't understand. But that's where I got involved. That's where I started digging. And oh my god. Yes, maybe some of my information is a little bit out there, and maybe some of my information is just way the fuck out there. But this is what I know. The Empire of Mankind is a real threat. They're everywhere in the Three Arms. They're everywhere. Terrain isn't the only place they've attacked, but it's the only one they have openly claimed, and then it was shut down by most news agencies out there. Most reputable ones, anyways.
What?
Okay, so for lore, what the fuck is the Empire of Mankind?
Terrorist organization. That as far as, I don't want to give away everything, obviously. But the...
Well, so what would a general person know who hasn't actually looked into it then?
I'm sorry, one more time?
What would a general person know who hasn't looked into it then?
They
what
would
the news
be
carry?
Yeah, they would be somewhere on the order of Al-Qaeda, but not so successful, maybe? I don't know if that's really the right word to use, but they carry some notoriety and some threat, but most people generically dismiss them unless they're actively in an area, unless they're in an area where they're actively active. Jesus Christ, that was redundant. But you know what I mean? Like, so like here in the US, we don't really care too much. The average person doesn't care too much about Al-Qaeda, because to us, Al-Qaeda is not a threat. But if you lived in the Middle East in certain years, Al-Qaeda's a big fucking threat. That's what he's trying to, and that's kind of where the Empire of Mankind is. If you're not in one of those areas where they've been active recently, nobody gives a shit. They barely even know who they are. They may have heard the name. And so they've been mentioned in the media at some points, but otherwise they get either shut down, squashed, or even publicly dismissed by governmental agencies. Perhaps as part of a cover-up, as some conspiracy sites may suggest. Go ahead.
Just as a point of clarification, when people are talking about dukes, because the message we have talks about dukes, that's not a common thing in 2300. I think there is at least one place I know of that actually has a duke. But the message talks about several dukes.
Yes.
Is that a carryover from Traveler? Is that something that there is?
No, this is
world,
this
or is this
the facts
self-titled dukes.
That's a good way to call it, is self-titled. I will say this, within the context of the messages, the fact that there's somebody referring to others as dukes is a little bit weird. But also somebody is calling themselves the Empire of Mankind. Also weird.
So,
Generically speaking, in Traveller 2300, the idea of royalty is pretty low outside of the British royal family. There's probably some, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of any specific ones, but there's probably some actual royalty somewhere out there. But outside of the British royal family, the fact that there's nobility titles being used is very, very, very low.
yeah.
Or if anything,
Okay,
it's
Wiggles.
like,
You and your dukes from your coffee. I got you. Go ahead, Charles.
I was gonna say, if anything, it's like a mafioso or
Right.
criminal organization.
That would be a good way to reference it without me giving away too much.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right, and then damn it. You know what? Here. Here. You know what? Here. Take the 5,000 cash. Get the fuck outside. We're gonna talk this over.
Can I have my gun back
And
at
you can wait
least?
out.
This area is kind of sketchy now. I didn't really want to come in here in the first place, but I really... God, Jesus, this makes me sound horrible. I really need this money. I need to get the Vogelheim.
I turn around. I walk over to the into the bathroom, and I see
you see
Milligan.
the pile of bullets and gun parts?
Yeah, and I
hands and I dump
basically
it all
grab
in
them
there.
all up, and I kind of dump them on the bed and say, "Here you go."
Here's your shit. Here's your shit.
Here's your shit.
Those
You can
cops
take
Go
the
are-
sit
5K,
outside.
We're gonna discuss. You take the 5K. We're gonna discuss whether or not you're worth the other 5K.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's hilarious. Okay, go ahead. Oh, man. That's funny.
There ain't no
Yeah.
way we can leave this fucking hotel room without you seeing it, all right? And if you want the other 5K, there ain't no reason for you to run.
Yeah,
So
he's,
you can
he
hear,
just kind
you
of...
can hear like
he's-
Wyatt's Belter twang perk up more.
Yeah, no,
And I
he
just
takes the
kinda-
gun parts and he takes the cash and he's just like, he's got the what the fuck head shaking thing going on right now and just makes his way outside and sits down on a curb somewhere.
Yeah, I just kind of like, oh, you made him angry. You didn't want to like make him angry.
He won't like the XO when he's angry.
So once I hear him leave, I come out of the bathroom.
All right. So you were able to hear clear enough, Mulligan?
Oh yeah, the walls are pretty thin around here.
And he got
All right,
he
you wanna
probably
watch
got
the-
loud a little bit there during some of his tirades too.
Yeah. You wanna watch the video
I heard y'all talking about it, and I mean
Yeah.
that sounds like the captain's vac suit, an old vac suit. But again,
Yeah,
you're
no.
right. It doesn't necessarily mean the captain's in there.
No, it doesn't, and I can figure out a way to get access to the suit without raising suspicion. I ain't got no worries on that.
Well, it raises another question. If he got this video feed through his investigations, that means security on that station has that feed. They would have matched up the name or partial name with the ship registry of the ships that were there. And don't you think they would have come calling by now?
Yeah, and Flex was supposed to promote Briggs to Admiral and be declined.
And that could go two ways. He may be right where he wants to be if he's, the problem.
I mean, that's what Briggs has suggested as much, that he liked being captain, he liked being behind the wheel. So,
Right.
I don't, as a lifelong spacer, I can't blame someone for wanting that.
I'm just gonna throw this out.
More fucking years in space and on the ground for me.
But
I'm
we
just
need to figure out what we're going to do moving forward before we leave here.
Charles
Yeah,
is getting
is
ready
this-
to say
is
something
this-
too, by the way.
Is this guy worth the extra 5K? Because I can give him my dirt bike and he can fucking sell it. I don't want to sell my dirt bike.
How about that? That's a shame. He's got 5K, he can come up with the rest of it himself. He can get a job. He can do whatever, he he's a ship crew member, former. Maybe he can get on a ship crew heading out of here. That his money issues are not our issues, but he shouldn't be asking us for money to clear his friend. That's just wrong.
I agree to that. The other way to look at it, of course, is the fact that we're, paying for an informant, and that do cost money, and that do cause harm to them.
I'm just gonna throw this out here, gentlemen, just because it happened to me. I kind of left the law enforcement for a reason, and I don't know if y'all know about this, but there's like AI software, deep faking, some stuff like that. So this could all be, a composite done
Right.
by a computer.
We don't know that this video is any good anyway until we have somebody dissect it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get that to the comms guy, dude. XO.
Ooh.
And,
I didn't think about
and
that.
let him kind of pull it apart. I know computers, but I
Spoiler
don't
than
know.
a room about O2, though.
I said, I have another suggestion about the ship and the messages. So there's only one antenna that these messages go out of.
Yeah.
But the system that buffers those messages, that's where they're getting deleted, or at least all the information stripped off of them, right?
Yeah, I'm having my wife do pretty much I have my wife do a diagnostic on it, short of turning it down and rebuilding it.
So what if we put a splitter on the way to the antenna? And so one copy of whatever goes off of the ship goes through the antenna and it goes off, but another copy goes to a holding place that's not on the network.
And it's gotta be isolated from the ship system, so that way they have to physically access it to change it.
We could use the rover. It has an antenna.
Yeah, all right.
Are you talking about?
True.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about the ATVs?
Yeah.
Oh, using the ATV as your source
That's
for the split information,
Yeah.
Yep.
or the dump,
Yep.
or whatever you want to call it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That would
We're
probably be better
we
because it
can-
wouldn't involve a bunch of maintenance to install the splitter.
No, yeah, right. No. Okay, so I'll worry about getting access to the captain's suit. I've got a plan on how to do that. You can't say no to it, because I got the book to work against him.
So I have one other
Now-
question for y'all, and feel free to say no. I bought the captain a watch because the first time I met him, he kept looking at his wrist. So I'm just trying to be nice. It's not super expensive. I'm not trying to buy a favor. Maybe to get me one anyway. But if that makes y'all uncomfortable, me getting closer to the captain, just say so and I won't do it. But otherwise,
no,
I could spend some time trying to get closer to the captain.
I will say that his suit from his old space marine days does point a spotlight at him, and we need to figure that out. But I will say it's a damn weak spotlight.
Couldn't we do some kind of DNA sniffer inside the suit to see if anybody's been in it but him?
No idea. I don't know. GM? Is that a thing that exists?
That's not an option. I mean, you. So if number one, it is just physically impossible because you do not have access to that spacesuit anymore.
Oh, I'll make access to that spacesuit. He won't be able to say no. Mark my words.
No, so a person was wearing that spacesuit on the terrain station, planting the charges that went off as your character, and McAvoy and one of the other crew members of the ship were loading onto a shuttle that was going to transfer you from the station to the ship.
Oh, and the captain was already on board.
Correct.
Oh, I forgot that detail. Okay, so the captain could not have been wearing that suit whatsoever.
Correct.
Unless the charges were set previously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there is no timestamp in the video, so you don't know when
Okay.
exactly it was taken. But what you do know, it was taken, at least from everything that you've been led to believe, the video was taken leading up to just shortly prior to the explosion. Now, whether those charges were planted an hour, a day, a week, a month, that part is unknown.
But chances are that suit is either destroyed or somewhere else on that station.
Or anywhere else, because it's been
Or
over a
anywhere else
month
at this
now
point,
since
yeah,
that
yeah.
explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, get close to the captain, whatever. Honestly, try to make genuine friends. If ain't no reason to ruin your career just because someone happened to be wearing his suit, fucking shade being thrown everywhere, right?
Yep. And so I relate to y'all.
Yeah.
I relate to y'all my little idea about the joke about trying to drag everybody out for karaoke. And I'm
Don't
like,
do that. Don't do that.
that'd be a perfect way for us to cover ourselves tonight. We can say that I did that to the two of y'all. We can stop by some karaoke bar on the way out of here and click a few pictures. And that way,
and then be like, "Oh, I didn't realize
running
Gary."
around. Right, and then y'all can give me shit for 3 days when we get back to the ship about it.
And that's your in with the captain. These motherfuckers. Oh, hey, by the way, Cap, I bought you a watch.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not cool with paying him another $5K.
I think we should just tell him we're good. This is some information, but it's not verifiable until we spend an awful lot of time deconstructing it.
Well,
we're square.
Yeah, and I'll bring up too the XO. I mean, sometimes we had to like split the payments up, and if we could action on the intelligence, then they would get the other half. So we can just tell it to that to him that way too.
All right, you want to go hide back in the bathroom, or do you want to be seen?
Well, he left. He's not even in the hallway right now. So let's just all go down there as a group because that's going to intimidate him.
He's definitely sitting outside in like the parking lot, in a spot closest
to the light, trying to put his gun back together.
Yeah, he's got it back together. Australia says, I mean, they could cross-reference ships entering and exiting the field of view of the camera. Well, so the camera was more of an interior corridor and didn't really have much view of the exterior of the station. Excuse me. So yeah, when you guys go out there, he's sitting there. You know how you've got the curb, and then usually parking spots will have its own little concrete pseudo curb, and he's sitting on one of those, and he's got the gun back together, and he's putting the ammo back in the magazine. You could tell that maybe 5,000 Libra, unless it's a bunch of hundreds, that's a lot of cash. So he's got it obviously in it's kind of obvious in one pocket of his jacket, and he sees you guys come around, and he's kind of like, when he sees that there's three of you, he's like, "What the fuck are you guys, rabbits?" And I made it sound a little bit more comical, but he's actually a little bit more defensive / upset, and feels a little untrusting, I guess is the best way to explain it.
I look at him. Hang on. I look at him and I go, "Well, we don't know what we're walking into. This is the security team. You
Jesus
should know this."
Christ, I mean, I get it, but it's just fucking me. Whatever. Listen, maybe we got off the wrong foot. I don't know. I apologize. There's a lot. I'm dealing with a lot here. It's stressful to get out there. It's a lot to process. I know a lot of shit that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and when you try to explain that to somebody, it makes even less sense, and then it makes less sense to you. And he starts this fucking spiral again.
Dude, you need to come off of whatever recreational pharmaceutical that you're using.
Are you offering to buy a drink? Because I feel like I could use a drink right now.
Yeah. Why don't you just leave the gun? Let's go get a drink, and maybe some food. Come on, let's go find the trashiest little dive bar around here.
It's probably
how about the karaoke?
Let's go find
and that's how we end up at the karaoke bar.
Yeah. But just leave the gun.
He's like, fuck. He kind of disappears for a second, like around the backside of one of the wings of the hotel, and he's like, kind of tosses it in a bush, but in such a way that he knows he can get back there to it. And then he catches back up. It only takes a few seconds for him to do all that. So, all right, let's go. Right. Am I going to get paid? I mean, really, that's really what I need. I need that money.
I look
at
karaoke.
Karaoke. Really? Karaoke? Is that really? I can't sing.
I'm carrying the briefcase.
There's always time for karaoke.
There's always time for a bowl.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I've got no other. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we go to karaoke. We get one of those private rooms, so to have a little party, and then we'll finish up there. Right. Yeah. So now we're in a place with a bunch of civilians around us. So if he freaks out, he's the one who looks bad.
Yeah, and he recognizes that, which of course was his MO from earlier today. Like he was the one that recommended the sandwich shop on the sidewalk there. So he's definitely, his conspiracy theory mode is turned off while he's in a bunch of people. He orders a drink or two, but nothing crazy, nothing hard.
Why buy some cigarettes from like a vending machine or something? That feels, I don't know.
Yeah, just
And you
enough
see
to
him
knock the edge
smoke.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think it's like the first thing you've been like running around with him for like a month now. This is like the first thing I've actually seen him smoke, and Elephant, you saw him shout at McAvoy about smoking and whatnot.
Yeah, but
It's
you're on the
like-
surface of a planet with an actual atmosphere. This is okay.
Right.
It's not. It's not highly pressurized. Hey, what's up,
I'm
Hashin? Go ahead.
All I'm gonna say is whatever food's coming, I'm taking the foil
Yeah.
wrap that they're serving it in.
Whatever, or
Making it
whatever.
hat For 'em.
So
I
here's the
think
deal.
I think Hartman will see you doing that at some point, like probably like a few minutes later as the conversation continues, and he just looks over and he's like, he gives you that, like, really, dude, really? I mean, I hear you, I hear me, but really?
Yeah,
I just look at him
here-
and I just Clint Eastwood eyes and just keep going back to folding this.
Clint Eastwood eyes. Go ahead, Exo. What were you gonna say?
Look, here's the deal. You're only getting 5K because what you gave us isn't even worth 5K. You gotta understand that. You gave us video that we didn't have access to. Kudos. Don't know who's in it. That's bad. You gotta verify this video. There ain't nothing actionable on this. Alright? You gave us a conspiracy theory, and you should be glad that you're getting 5K for telling us your fan fiction. But tell you what, I'll make a disposable Google account or whatever.
Mhm.
You email this, and when I'm in port, I will check it. All right. And if we can verify any of this goddamn information, I will send you the rest of the 5K. Yeah, I know that's gonna make you take longer to get to Wagner. I don't give a shit.
I think when you
So if
say,
you're gonna tell me that, I'm gonna
once
get
you-
upset.
I think when you get to that whole "I don't give a shit" part, he's just kind of like, you can see. I don't want to say furious, but he's definitely distraught and upset, perhaps even angry. And he's just like, but he also understands everything you said. Like he's kind of nodding along at some parts. He's kind of like, yeah, no, I know it's not a lot to work with. I know things don't quite add up. And at one point he even very clearly says, if I could show you everything I had and how everything was connected, you would understand where I'm coming from. But I get it. I can't really fault you. It takes him a couple of minutes to get his head wrapped around it. But you could see after all that, like he's working his way from like, the fuck you're not paying me to, okay, I guess I'm not getting paid. I guess I can see where you're coming from and why you're making that decision about not paying
And
me.
at this point, I slam the briefcase down. I look over the XO, and I kind of like pantomime to give it to him. No, give it to
No. No, don't give it to him.
him?
If he
Okay.
reaches for it, hit him.
Joel mein Führer.
And he's not reaching for it. Like, he gets it. I think he is in a spot where he's like, I kind of went out on a limb. I should just take my victories where I got it and just work with it,
Like I said, if we can verify what you've given us, which again ain't a lot.
No. And I think he knows that. And he does point out at one point that it's obvious that it was either Captain Briggs in that vac suit or Captain Briggs is otherwise implicated in the providing of that spacesuit. But as soon as he says it, he's kind of like, he just kind of throws his hands up. He's like, you probably already figured that shit out. Why did I even say that? All right, listen.
I am literate. Belters can read,
Can read. Got it.
But like, the more stress he gets, the more he's gonna go into the Belter pigeon language.
Oh yeah,
and-
absolutely. And I think at one point, finally, Hartman is more just like, he finishes his drink and he says, "Gentlemen, I apologize. for this confusion and this chaos, and I thank you for your time and for the money that you did decide to give me. He'll take the email contact information, space mail contact, from spacegoogle.com, and unless somebody stops him, he'll bid himself adieu and show himself out.
So either everything's cool or we're about to get arrested. If we're about to get arrested, I want to be drunk.
So we're gonna leave pretty quick. I just
Yeah.
say, as soon as he walks out, I yell photo op.
And photo op.
I start leading them to the stage or whatever, and I start going through the little terminal there, and I try to pick something pre-war, female and poppy. So let's just say, oops, I did it again.
Oh.
Oops, I dropped the bomb again. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't carry
And
it.
so we gather, up on the stage close enough for one of them to click a picture because I don't have a link phone. And as soon as that's done, we just drop the mic and leave.
Yep.
We don't even finish the song.
When it goes to the solo after the second verse, that's when you dip out. Third verse comes up and they're like, "There's the lyrics on the screen, but no one's singing. What the fuck, man?" All right. Fucking amazing session, guys. Thank you so much. That was awesome, and that is literally all the content I had prepped for, other than your eventual departure, which will now get moved to the next session. Wow, that was amazing. I initially started to write that scene with Hartman as a scam move, because last week I had a number of scam opportunities come thrown at me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking write about it because fucking scams are stupid. I hate that shit. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, I could actually use this scam to throw some red herrings and some, what do we call it? Chekhov's guns? And maybe some actual factual evidence as to what's going on. So I decided to make it a little bit more in depth, and thus Roland Hartman became a little bit more than just a wild conspiracy guy. He's a wild conspiracy guy with a friendship that he's trying to protect. So, Charles.
Okay. The EXO's poor.
What's that? The EXO's poor.
Yeah. Poor.
Yeah. Sorry, EXO. You bought a bike and then gave up $5,000. You got scammed by the space Nigerian prince.
You're gonna get your butt chewed when you get back to the ship.
Yeah, Alia is not gonna be happy.
No, this is my money. All right? She has her money.
No, this is when she comes home, or rather, when you come back to the ship and the quarters, and she sees what you have done. She's like, "This is exactly why I have my account and you have your account, and never shall the two ever intertwine." Let's do some outros. Charles, what do you got for tonight, and what do you got for final thoughts and etc.?
What I got is, oh dear Lord, what shenanigans have we gotten ourselves into? More spy stuff, more conspiracy stuff, and so with that, all I say is, what is it? The truth is out there.
The truth is out there. Yeah.
I say, yeah, tonight was glad we got it done. I think it was great, and I hope we can keep it up. So
yeah, definitely. Thurgor.
All right, I think it was an awesome session.
Perhaps after tonight, we won't call you an intern anymore. Perhaps we will. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to talk all over you, but go ahead.
So yeah, I think the session went great. I think we're finally getting into the meat of some things. We'll talk about this message next session. The one that had all the code and stuff in it.
All the X's in it.
Yep. And did you see that note I made about the one word?
Yeah, you said something about one word had too many characters in it.
Yeah, there's a word in there that I think is discovered, because a lot of it's filled in, but one X looks like it was dropped into the word instead of replacing a letter. So it makes it look like it should have an extra letter. So I don't know if that was a typo or what, but I just thought I'd bring that to your attention.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at it right now while you guys are talking.
All right.
Go ahead, but yeah, go ahead. You said
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. This is going to give me a little time to think about my talks I'm going to have with the captain and all of that.
oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. That there is an extra letter in there. So yeah, there's definitely an extra letter. It looks like one of the letters was supposed to be deleted and it wasn't. Okay, good call or good catch.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wiggles, what do you got? Thoughts for tonight and closing thoughts
I
in
didn't
general?
have to sell my bike.
You still have it, and it didn't. It still only has about 27 kilometers on it.
That's true. Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to try to hide it among some like frozen hamburger patties or something like that.
Amongst all those stores you keep checking every day. Did you see that reference, or did you hear that reference I put in there for you?
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I started doing as XO is double checking inventory.
Yeah, that's why when you contacted the chief steward, that's why he was like, "Don't tell me something's wrong with the stores. I've checked everything. Fucking, we've checked everything." That's why I said that. Oh man, yeah, I definitely dropped a couple of big ones tonight. Whether or not you guys believe them and whether or not they're actually true, only time will tell.
Cost me $5,000. Better be true.
Anybody else got anything before I go ahead and wrap it up for the night?
I'm good.
All right,
I'm good.
awesome. Charles, you
Eventually,
good?
Sunday,
I'm good.
the entire campaign, that motorcycle will not be ridden.
You know what? That might just become my new life's goal. Keep Wyatt off his motorcycle. Every time he pulls it out, somebody's gonna call him.
Drive around all the vehicles in the cargo bay or something.
There's not that much wiggle room in there.
No,
There really
there's
isn't.
not.
There really isn't. Tran hat happened? No, we didn't get a hat for Tran. Oh, I forgot to mention, because I was trying to wrap it up, but as you guys are making your way back onto the ship, probably around like 8 or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, of course, it's still, again, it still looks like it's about 5 or 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon because tidal locked with the star. As you're making your way back onto the ship, you notice Buford Aiello and Carl Spearman coming back from their own personal excursion. And once again, these two young troopers have a plethora of souvenirs that all say things like Nibelungen ist groß, which is German for Jesus Christ. Nibelungen is great. Other paraphernalia and souvenirs like keychains and banners and T-shirts and shit like that.
I'll catch Carl and I'll just look at him and go, really? Did we not talk about this?
And Carl's gonna look at you and be like, "It's my money, bro." He doesn't say it like that, obviously. That's not how he says it, but that's effectively what he says.
Right? Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. I'm just like, all right.
You're gonna run out of your assigned cubic kilograms of storage.
Okay, so to be fair, they've got like a couple of things, but it's the big, it's the big foam #1 finger, right? It's the big flat, the big banner, and maybe a wall size poster or something that's 6 feet long by whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah. Final scene of the campaign is them riding the bike after being chased by a horde of 10,000 Kephers. And one of them's leaning back. I'm adding this part. And one of them's leaning back with that little 10-round fucking holdout pistol from Hartman going, pew, pew, pew. Drive faster, damn it, drive faster. In the setting sun that never sets, because once again, they're on a planet totally locked to the star. Oh my god, I am memeing hard tonight. My friends, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. Stormbender327, thank you, my friend, for the follow. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I know I didn't say it. I tried to type it in when I had a chance, but I was already interrupting these guys enough tonight when they were doing their own little scene there. Oh, man, what an amazing session. I really, I didn't think we'd make it to 3 hours, and here we are right now, 2:58 and some seconds. But thank you guys. That was amazing. That was a really good session. Hopefully the next one is at least as good, but don't hold your breath. We are going to get out of here for the night and for the week. Join me again on Sunday night when we return to Solaris for the Greyland Trios League Week 1 of the postseason playoffs. And then whatever else we got planned for next week. That's some of it's a little bit questionable. Some of it will happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get there. In the meantime, actually, no. Hold on a second. Next week is the 4th of July, isn't it?
That's
On
yeah,
Tuesday.
the day after.
Our day is the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. So Blood and Glory probably won't happen in that case. But Second Star, which is on the 5th, will, most likely. Unless there's more landslides or insert other reasons here.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
off on the 5th.
What's
Because
that?
I said I'm actually off. I'm usually off the day after every holiday because honestly, most people aren't capable of making it to work the day after a holiday around here. So
That totally scans. I wish we had that
Yeah.
option. Oh man. Well, we'll see what happens. But it looks good. Like for the most part, it looks like things will work out. In the meantime, my friends, I am going to get out of here because if I keep talking, I'm going to be rambling and it won't make any goddamn sense whatsoever. Thank you again. Stay safe out there. This world is a crazy and dark place. Make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good one, my friends. See you next time.
all right.